And Sam De La Torre, Bill from Batson Enterprises.
Yeah.
Am I out of control to say that anybody fishing here in Southern California has probably used one of your components? Is that true?
This is very true. I believe, whether it be a butt cap or a tip top or some of the guides or the whole rod in some instances. But yes, that's not far-fetched to say.
That's incredible.
It is.
It really is. And
It is.
Sam, I know when you told me you got to interview Bill Batson because he is the man.
Oh yeah.
You're not fooling around, are you? He is.
I mean, like when I first started getting into where I wanted to start selling components, I talked to Randy. We talked, okay, well, this and that. You got to carry a variety of products.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna have one guy supply you with everything you need, Batson's the guy. He's gonna have all the blanks. He's gonna have all the guides. I mean, it doesn't have finish, but I mean, as far as the parts that you put on the rod, all the best reel seats, all the best butt caps, all the best handle material. Now with the battle on, I mean, you got so much going, and at so many different price points too. You got from the basic stuff to like the full-on titanium stuff.
Yeah.
So it's wherever you want to go, you're gonna be able to get it in one place.
That's great. And so, like,
right away.
some of these rod builders that I've met through you, Freddie, they're all going to Bill, I imagine, huh?
Yeah. I mean, because of that. I mean, we all source from different places because our customers want different things.
Right.
But by and large, 80 to 90% of what I have comes out of his warehouse because there's just so much there, and he's developed so many good products that apply.
Yep.
That's why I have it. I mean, all the other stuff I have, but if I wanted to just have one person, that'd be the guy.
You're the man.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. We have over 6,000 different products in our product line. We have a 340-page color catalog that you can look through. And people, this is not something you just look at and you throw away. This is like, it's like a coffee table piece for you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So how did this all come to fruition? Your father started this whole thing,
Most
huh?
definitely.
Yeah. How did that start?
Well, I grew up in Maui, and we were
Paradise.
Well, yeah, we grew up in the mountains. We were cattlemen. Worked on a cattle ranch, and we hunted and we fished and we dove. Ever since I was a little kid, I can remember doing that. And one day I came home. I was 12 years old, and I saw my dad sitting on the living room floor, and he had a 13-foot one-piece Fenwick, and he had a cup with a spool of thread in it, and he had a couple of encyclopedias he was using as his thread tension device, and he was wrapping a fishing rod. I said, "Dad, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm building us some new tools, son. It's like a chainsaw. You're going to go out, you want a good saw. If you're going to cut a tree down, you're not going to use an axe. You're going to use a chainsaw, right? You want the best tool, right?"
Yeah.
So my father was all about building the best tools, right? So that's where it started,
So you guys were cattlemen, and in your spare time to get away from that.
Extra money, because my dad, once you build a fishing rod, your buddies hear about it, right?
Yeah.
Your buddies hear about it. "Hey, you build fishing rods, Bob." "Yeah. Want me to build you one?" "Sure, I'll build you one." So my dad started building rods.
Yeah.
On the side while he was still doing the cattleman thing in Maui. And it just kind of blew up from there. So
there's something so intimate about building your rod and then going out and catching a fish on it, right?
Yes, most definitely.
I mean, it's so different than going to the store, picking up a rod and catching a fish. When you put that blood, sweat, and tears or whatever into it, it makes it a whole different thing.
Oh, it is. It's a whole different experience for everybody. I mean, it's like tying your own fly or making your own lure and going out and catching a fish with that. It's like same thing. If you can build something or you make your own bow and arrow, and so there's a lot of cross things you can look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, to build something and then go out and catch a fish with it and enjoy it, because that's what we fish for. We fish for the enjoyment. It's right. We're in the recreational industry, right? This is what we do when we're not working. Right, most of us. Some people fish for a living.
Right.
That's different. We're in the recreational part of it, right? To go out and do that, you can't put a price tag on that.
You're blessed.
Most
right?
definitely. Most definitely.
Jeff Yeoman says hello to everybody. Sam,
Thanks.
Bill, he said he's
Thanks.
really enjoying it so far.
Thank
so
you.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that to people. It's people are like, well, why do you go fishing? And they think it's about catching the fish when it's not about that, right, Sam?
No, not at all. I mean,
It's about spending time with your family.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of other hobbies, I mean, whether you go golfing or whatever it is. But there's just something about, I mean, at least for us, the ocean, there's something about the ocean that it's a calming, therapeutic experience.
100%.
You can't always describe in words, but that when you go, you had some good relief. You had some good feelings come. And so That's why guys keep going. You know, I mean, it's just something that draws you back over and over.
It's when you come back from a fishing trip. I just came back from a 2-day trip.
Yeah.
You know it was a successful trip when you look and you go, okay, back to reality, because you've escaped reality for 48 hours. And you really have. You're watching nature. You're focused on a fish. You're focused, in my case, on shooting good video and trying to take care of everybody. Make sure everybody's having a good time. And that gives you a break from life.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, like I said, you can't put a price tag on that. Those downtimes, right? I call it my downtimes, right? To get out on a boat, like I'm going to go on a 3-day, I get to turn my phone off, you know, because I'm a busy guy. Like, we're all busy, right? We all have businesses to take care of and family to take care of. But I get to turn my phone off, and I get to go just turn everything off and enjoy my fishing trip. Catching a fish is a bonus, right? Just being out there with my family. Like, I'm going to fish with my sister and my best friend Eric Noguchi and my cousin, and we're all going to get on a boat. We're going to go out on a 3-day. You can't, I mean, that's what we live for.
Yeah, exactly.
We live for those downtimes, right?
100%.
We don't live for work, right?
Right.
But we live for those downtimes. It's an amazing.
When you're on your deathbed, very rarely do you say, God darn it, I wish I would have worked one more day.
Yeah, exactly.
You're more like, man, I wish I would have made that half day, or I went back to Costa Rica, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Even you were on the Royal Star 3 days, and it was pretty slow. And I was on the Amigo, and it was slow for game fish.
Yeah.
And you and I said the same thing. We had a great time.
Great time, yeah. I'll go again. Knowing even ahead of time that it's going to be slow, I still would rather do that than have to deal with what we deal with every day.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
But that's not to say that we don't enjoy a wide open bite, right?
No.
Yeah, right?
You know it's a bonus.
Bill, what has happened to recreational sports in general during the pandemic?
Everything's blown up. I don't care if it's biking, hiking, golfing, fishing, whatever it is. Ever since the pandemic, the recreational industry's blown up.
Do you have a theory on why?
Yeah, people are going outside. They're being with their families. They can do it by themselves, or they can do it with their families. They don't have to be around a lot of people, and they're getting out because, well, first of all, a lot of people weren't working. For, you know, what do I do when I'm not working? I'm going to go recreate.
Yeah,
right?
Go do something, right?
Do something. You can't sit
I
in the
started a
house all the time.
podcast.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody's got to do something.
Yeah,
right. But so the whole recreational industry is blown up. It's amazing. My business is up 35-40%.
Wow.
On a multi-million-dollar business, that's huge.
You gotta love that, huh?
I do.
Yeah.
You know, just supply and demand. You know, and I know a lot of people struggle because, for me and my company, I love to carry a lot of inventory. If I don't have it, I can't sell it.
Yeah.
I'm always buying more than I ever needed. And when I see things coming, I'm kind of like a visionary. I see things going to happen. You know, I didn't see the pandemic coming, but I saw different things in the industry that were happening. So I loaded up on a lot of products.
Yeah.
So when the pandemic hit and a lot of people were having
supply chain issues,
I didn't.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, so my business just grew.
So other companies were having trouble getting supplies, and you were sitting in the catbird seat, right?
I was. You know, it just happened that way. So yeah, I was very blessed to be able to have a lot of inventory. You can ask Sam. My fill rate is very high.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people. I mean, I was just out at another tackle store yesterday, and he says, Bill, one of the best things about you guys is the supply. I mean, and the knowledge that we have in our industry.
Yeah.
You know, so somebody can call up and say, I want to go noodle sock fishing in Timbuktu, right?
And you've got it wired.
And we've got it, right? We can tell you what to use, how to build the rod, and everything. So knowledge is key in this industry.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is key.
Let me read a couple. Most of the guys are just saying hello, Johnny. It says hello to Sam. Steve, YouTube starts in action. 540 Slinger saying hi to Johnny. Brandon, I'm here. Nice job. Up 40%. He's happy for you.
Yeah.
What's up, Jeff? And Steve is saying, that sounds like Sam with all the range shadow blanks he has. You've got a lot of those, right?
I got a lot, yeah.
And I didn't even know the connection here with Bill. But I noticed that when I come in and say, hey, what's a good rod for you? always mention range shadow.
Yeah.
So that money you paid him to do that came
it's
through, Bill.
It's finally paying off.
Yeah, he asked me to say that and flip me 100. So, you know, we're all good now, right?
I'll get around.
Yeah. Rain shadow is it going this way?
Yes, most definitely.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that's a good feeling, isn't it?
It's a great feeling. You know, we work hard. I mean, it's a relationship-based industry. This is. I mean, I got a relationship with Sam. I've got a relationship with, you know, I have 700 customers worldwide, and I know everybody by name.
Yeah.
You know, and I travel a lot, and I go see people, and I'm the boots on the ground. They call me I'm the coach of my team. I'm also a coach player, but I'm the CEO of the company and the owner.
Yeah.
But so I do all of it, and I'm old school like that. You know, people say, Batson, you're one of the hardest working guys in this industry.
Yeah.
Because nobody does that anymore. They don't.
No.
They pick up the phone, or you know, they might go on the computer, and you might do
Or they delegate.
Skype, or they delegate some rep group to go talk to you or something like that. No, I've had many people tell me, Bill, what are you doing? You're the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, and you're sitting in this little tackle store, and I spend $5,000 a year with you. I said, it doesn't matter. I've taken those $5,000 companies and made them into $100,000, $200,000 company. You know, but it's about building relationships.
Yeah, it totally is. This whole business is about that, right?
Yeah.
I always feel like, I pull my hair out sometimes, but I answer every comment on YouTube. And now that we're into the thousands, and I answer every single one because that guy is watching my stuff, taking time out of his day, and taking time to. The least I can do is respond and say thank you.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and then you seem like you're the same thing.
I'm the same guy. I'm on the phone. I'm on the internet, just thanking people all the
Me
time.
too.
Hey, thank you for doing that.
That
Thank
takes
you
up
for
a
saying
lot of
that.
time, doesn't it?
It does, you know.
Really does.
I've got a whole marketing team that does it all the time too.
Yeah.
I got 3 people in marketing. That's what they do. They talk about
Bill?
it, they promote people.
I had a full head of hair when I started
Yeah,
doing
I bet you
that.
did.
Yeah, look what happened. Now I'm
starting to lose
screwed.
mine too.
And you at your tackle store, there's never anybody that walks in that front door that doesn't get greeted.
No, that's.
Do you
number
tell
one.
your staff that, or does that come naturally?
You know what?
Or do
It's
they
something
see it from you
Yeah, I think
and
so.
copy
You gotta
it?
set a good example.
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, that's probably one of the things that I get most upset about. And I know sometimes it's hard, because we get a lot of guys in there, and sometimes you're helping somebody out, and you see a guy come in, and he doesn't get helped, and then you see him walk out. I'm like, man, that's probably the worst thing for me, the worst feeling, because I know that if I go somewhere and I want help, I don't want to have someone have that feeling. I know it's not a good feeling to do that.
Right.
To happen to you. So the last thing I want to do is have someone come into my store and have that experience. So,
Yeah, exactly.
And there are times when it's hard because there are times when we get slammed in there. Today was actually pretty mellow, but there's times when it just gets busy or everybody shows up at once. But you just got to do your best effort. Just at least greet the person.
Yep.
And sometimes they just like, hey, I'm from out of town. Just kind of checking you guys out. Okay, no problem. Or hey, you know what? I just want to know where the jigs are. Okay, they're in that aisle right there. I'll come back and help you out in a little bit. And at least you do that. At least you acknowledge that they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very
really
important. Very important. I was there today, and people will come in and ask questions because knowledge is key, right?
Yeah.
People they're in there to ask questions.
Yeah, right.
You gotta be able to answer them. Hey, you need this jig, or what are you fishing for? Oh, okay, you need this size hook, or this is the best rod and reel combo for this, or things like that. Knowledge is key.
Absolutely.
And his staff is amazing.
Yeah, they're great. They're really great. The only thing that is a little bit of a downside to that is that when I go in there to do an interview, I sit there for 6 hours because I'm not going to interrupt his business.
No.
But guess what? I've got plenty of comments to answer and everything else. So I've got an office now at Island Fishing Deck. Got my little chair. I sit right there. And the funny thing is, I meet so many people. I met Casey from Redondo, and so it's great. Every time I go there, I enjoy myself because of that atmosphere. Guy named Dave Dodge. Do you know Dave? He's an old captain, ran the Southern Cal many years ago.
I know of him.
He called me tonight, and I mentioned, he goes, who's on your show tonight? I mentioned you guys, and he goes, that Sam De La Torre, he's very knowledgeable. I've been watching his stuff. So, Dave's a super good fisherman.
I would say that, I think when we first started doing those tips and tricks, I was just wanting to help out. I'm like, you need some help? Let's help out. But man, that has become like the craziest thing.
You mean you and I?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
It's fun to do. First of all, it's fun. It's cool to be able to help people out.
Yep.
That's what I love to do.
Yep.
And now I feel like I'm helping more people out.
And you know what? You're helping me out too, and I hope I'm helping you. I really feel that way because you're great at that, and so it's just been a real pleasure to work with you.
Well,
really.
I would never expected that to happen.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy how
I looked at that bluefin sinker thing you did.
That's been like the
That's
craziest
got 9,000 views now.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. It's good info. It's just you just don't ever think that that many people need that kind of. But that's why we started it. Just the number of people that.
Yeah, exactly. Bill, yeah, I mean, I'm amazed. Like, we had 18,000 hours of content consumed in the last 28 days, and I'm like, wow, there's actually people watching my crap that much, you know?
That's awesome.
I'm blessed, man. Yeah, really blessed.
It's a win-win situation for all of us, right?
Yeah.
It's a win-win. We're here to help each other out. Sam's helping you. You're helping him with his business. I help Sam. He helps me. I mean, we all grow with each other. That's what we need to do. We all need to help each other. And I was raised in Hawaii, and the Hawaiian way is, you know, if I got a pig and you got a cow, when I slaughter my pig, I'm going to give you part of that. And when I slaughter my cow, I'm going to give you part of that. You know, barter and trade and help each other out, right? And so that's the way I was raised.
Yeah.
I run that through my business also.
That's great. Let me read a couple more comments. Brandon says he just got to the landing. He's going out at 10 o'clock. Good to see you guys on the show tonight. Steve says your show is on 24/7 in Sam's shop. That's why I get 18,000 hours. Yeah, 17,999 are at Sam's. And there's one, my mom's dead, but my kids are watching the other. Yeah, somebody in my family. Dave, I love Dave's heart. And okay. And how are you doing, Steve? All right. If you have if anybody out there has a question about what kind of blank they should get. What, right? You can answer that.
Oh, I can answer it.
I want to catch a bluefin. I want to catch an albacore. I want to catch a blah, blah, blah.
Technique specific, species specific.
Ask questions, everybody. This is your chance. Bill's here.
Most definitely.
Bill, you just mentioned that you love helping people.
Yes.
Do you ever find, like, I don't know if Freddie's a good example, but maybe somebody that is just getting started, they may not have the financial resources.
Sure.
Do you ever say, like, hey, here's some components. Oh, yeah. Let's grow you. I'll work with you. Do you do that?
Most definitely. I've done that hundreds of times throughout my career. You know, somebody starting a new company, and they say, Bill, I really want to use your components, but I really can't afford it. So I would say, hey, I've done it. Here's $50,000 worth of components. Get your business going. You pay me when you can. Or, you know, even if I've done things for college kids, you know, hey, Bill, you know, I need a hand wrapper. I want a power wrapper. I want to build some rods in my dorm room while I'm going to college, you know, to make extra money. Okay, here, you know, I would donate parts, you know, and things like that. We love to give. We love to help. I'm well known in the industry as the guy that always is going to give. I want to give.
But you obviously look at the person and make a judgment, right? I mean, if it
you
looks
can't
like
do
the
it for
guy,
everybody,
right.
You've got to pick and choose. Just
Yeah,
like
because there's some
anything
people
else,
that
right?
will take advantage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of these people, I know them or I get to know them. You know, they'll ask me and I'll say, well, let me check you out for a while and watch your character, because it's all about a person's character, how they carry themselves, how they treat other people. You know, I don't want to work with people that are dishonest or taking advantage of other people or do things in the industry that shouldn't be done.
Yes,
You know,
agreed.
So, yeah,
Agreed.
So it's very important, you know. So, like I flew down this year to go to the Rollo Kids Tuna Wars.
Yeah.
So I came down last year. Mike Lem called me up and asked me if I'd come down and donate some stuff, so I did it, and I made a point of it to come down again this year for it. And we're going to give away 6, 8, maybe 10 rods at the event.
That's great.
To be raffled off, so those kids can go fishing.
That's great.
You know, I love doing stuff like that. I do a lot with the veterans. You know, armed forces is a big deal for me.
Me too.
You know, and kids. So I do a lot with the Wounded Warriors and Casting for Recovery and other programs where they're teaching these guys that, you know,
Have given it all for our freedom.
we wouldn't be the country we are today without those guys.
That's right.
Right? They've given the ultimate sacrifice.
That's right.
You know, they've put their lives on the line so we can have the life that we live.
That's right, because there's some people in the world, I'm talking about other countries, that don't understand anything but a really strong military.
Right.
And when you have it and they're sound like the guys and women that we have,
Oh, it's amazing.
things seem to work out pretty good.
Most definitely, yeah. So we do a lot for those folks also.
That's great. That's great.
We love to give back.
What? Let's see. 540 Slinger. That's Jeff Yeomans. The hours watched are because your podcasts make people feel welcome. You also offer great information. Jeff, I love you more and more every time. Slam and Sammy. What is the average price for a custom rod? Anybody want to answer that?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Sam go.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to draw like a median price, I guess I would say you're looking at $350 to $500 is probably a range. I think that depending on what you choose and what you're fishing for and the components you're going to use, if you're gonna have someone build a rod, you can probably get something as inexpensive as maybe $250, I would say. You know, get something done. If you're gonna build it yourself, which, you know, I think that is the best way to go. I mean, it's something that I think is very easy to learn. The hardest part about building your own rod is probably having enough space. A lot of guys don't have the space, but if you can make the space, you can get a rod done $150, $125.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and for a good rod, you can go catch yellowtail with, or whatever. You know, I mean, even a big tuna rod. I mean, some of the blanks that he has that are super popular, guides, reel seat, the whole thing, maybe $200 for like a really good rod. I mean, a rod that all day long we sell $500.
That's great.
All day long.
That's fantastic. So if I want to buy a rod, if I want to build a rod, do I go to you or do I go to Sam?
You go to Sam. So
Okay.
I'm the wholesaler.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I'm the designer, I'm the tester, and I'm the supplier.
Tough job testing all those rods,
Yeah,
huh? You got to go out and fish all the time
Part of my job is to travel around the world
and fish.
and fish.
That's awesome.
And then go to those areas, the manufacturers in those areas, and tell them, okay, I fished your fishery, and I think I can better your product line by offering you this. And that's what I do. I've done this for California because I've come to California for the last, well, I lived here for a while back in the 90s. But I see a need and I try to fill it. Or I try to make it better for like my guides or my reel seats or even some of our blanks.
Yeah.
You know? So I fill that need. And then I'm a wholesaler. So I hand it to my distributor and then they pass it off. So.
All right, we're starting to get so many questions. I don't want to fall behind because I got to run over there. And so let's go. Bill,
Yes.
You ever had that one glass rod you loved since you first started fishing? If so, could you find that to this today? Do you understand that?
Do I have a glass rod that I
I guess
liked?
that's the question, yeah.
That you can still find today.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was more of a bass rod. It was a crankbait rod. It was a 710 crankbait rod that I really liked that I still sell to this day, that I've sold for 20 years. 7'10" crankbait.
Yeah.
Glass crankbait rod. Yeah, you can find them.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Johnny wants to know, Bill, slow pitch, 60 to 100 gram blanks, which models? What do you recommend?
REV SJ 70M or the MH.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like two basic series in that. There's going to be your slow pitch rods and then your knife jigging rods.
Yep.
So that slow pitch rod is the one he was saying that's part of the Revelation series, REVS.
REVSJ. Yeah.
REVSJ. We got those actually in the shop too.
Yeah, Sam's got them in the shop.
Oh, great.
You come in and pull them. It's a full parabolic. It's kind of a new technique. It's been around for 3 or 4 years. It came from Japan.
Yeah.
It's really good for hooking fish, but it's really tough fighting a fish on a rod that is so parabolic.
Yeah.
But yes, we do have them.
I goofed around with that slow pitch a little bit on our trip. Gary Kwan set me up from Taddy Lewis. I had so much fun. I really enjoy
That's
that.
the stuff that we were saying about doing that small
Yeah.
trip to do that. I think we could do that.
Scott Grant wants to know, is the quality of component parts as good today, i.e. stainless steel, or should we all scour vintage rods and remove the hardware?
No, everything is much better than it was. Technology keeps getting better and better. Our 316 stainless steel guide, bulletproof with the black plated chrome on it. You can't beat the Alps product line. The aluminum is T6061 marine grade aluminum. It's better than the old chrome stuff that they used to make back in the day. The components are much better than they were.
All right, that's good news. Lots of people watching. Tons of questions coming in. You're a popular guy, both you two guys. All right, Johnny Starr, what are your thoughts on the Black Hole 50S 450G Cape Cod Special Jigging Rod?
Sam?
Sam?
That's a popular blank. You know, I mean, we were just talking about that today. We're here on the West Coast, we're kind of still getting our head around this whole knife jigging thing. You know, there's a few guys that seem to are doing it better. I think we were talking about maybe trying to find a couple guys that can come out here and talk about it a little bit better. But honestly, I'm not an expert in that.
Yeah.
I know that it works though, and I want to learn more about it. But I'd be the first to tell you, you know what? I don't know a lot about it. I think I've seen that blank. Someone brought one in to show it to me, and I think it works. It would work just fine.
Yeah.
But there's a few others out there. I mean, it's one of those that I just haven't got my head around completely to be able to say, oh yeah, that's the one you want. You know?
Okay.
I think there's a few others.
Mikey V says hello to everybody. Thanks you all for being here. Are slow pitch rods really strong enough to be pulled on? Can you pull hard on them?
No. No, because they'll bottom out.
Uh-huh.
Because they're so parabolic, you bottom them out. And if you bend them too much, because they bend all the way into the handle, most times you'll see breakage right at the handle.
Oh, okay. So you stay perpendicular when you hook a fish with a slow pitch rod? Is that the idea?
No, you hook it,
right,
and you make sure he's hooked, and then you point the rod at him, and almost straight rod the fish in. That's how they're supposed to fight those fish.
Yeah.
You can't do this because you got no backbone in the rod.
Right.
Right? Because the whole idea is to make that lure do its thing.
Yeah,
and
right.
You do that with the parabolic bend of the rod. So you really can't fight a fish. So it's good for hooking them, but when you fight them, it's more straight at the fish.
And that's the slow pitch, not the knife jigging rod.
Yeah.
So
right.
That's the other part of it too.
Yeah. So two different styles.
Two different
People
styles.
Get a little confused.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Slam and Sammy, thanks you for your answer. Johnny Starr, what do you think? Oh, we got that. Sorry. Mikey V. Okay. Eric Ramos. Bill, talk about your line of blanks for SoCal West Coast fishing style. RCLB and RCTB line.
Yep.
This guy is throwing you a softball here, man. Good job.
Understand. Well, the RCTB line is our rain shadow composite tuna blank. And we have a lot of different series. The most popular one down here would probably be your 7.6 XXH because they want that length.
Yeah.
And that's rated 50 to 100, maybe. Guys, I know that put more on it, 80 to 130 sometimes. That's very popular, the rain shadow composite tuna blank, RCTB. And the RCLB is more of your yellowtail rods. It's the 8-foot or 8-10 yellowtail rods. They can throw swim baits with it. There's a lot of different things. We have over 500 blanks in our portfolio.
Wow.
Yeah, that I stock.
Yeah.
500 different models. I mean, it's just amazing.
So, like you said, you want to fish for anything.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that, I don't even know what they call those things, those really weird trout in Mongolia. You would tell me, hey, here's the rod you need, right?
Exactly.
Some guy in China keeps sending me these, you got to come back and fish these, I forget what you call them, but these giant trout in Mongolia. I go, I'm dying to do it. I really want to do it.
Another popular series down here is the RCJBs, the rain shadow composite jig blanks. We call it the jig blank, but the 90 XXH is probably one of the most popular rods we have down here. Guys are fishing 100-pound on it, catching 200-pound fish, and liking it. Very forgiving on the body. And, I mean, Sam, have we broken any?
No way. Not even close.
Not even close. I mean, you can't do anything wrong with these rods.
That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So, main thing is when you're designing blanks, knowing what you're using them for. We do a lot of composites where you put a lot of graphite in the back end for stiffness, and then you add a lot of glass to the tip.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that's where your action is. And if you look at a lot of the rain shadows, you can see the pattern change. And that's basically where that rod's almost going to shut off.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Very good. Mikey V wants to know, okay, so you're using a slow pitch rod. How do you know when you've reached the limit on pulling on it? How do you, what do you feel? What that's what he's asking.
It's bottoming out. You can't pull anymore.
Uh-huh.
The rod is just,
bent to the reel.
Yeah, it's bent all the way into your hand.
Yeah.
And you really can't pull on it anymore. I mean, you're getting nothing out of it.
Yeah.
That's basically how you know.
Okay.
It's called bottoming out a rod. The rod is maxed out, right?
Yes, yes. I mentioned a couple of sponsors here because I forgot to do it. 22nd Street Landing here in beautiful San Pedro, California. What do you think about this place, Bill? It's beautiful, isn't it?
I love it here.
I know. Are you going to go fishing while you're down here?
Yeah, actually, I'm on a 3-day.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to go out with Jake on the prime time.
Love Jake.
Down in San Diego.
I told you that story about my son being on there when they rescued some people at the Coronado. Did you know that? Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, Jake and Jake. Yeah, we're going to go fishing with them. My cousin's going to fly down from Washington. That's where I'm from, Washington State. And my sister in San Diego is going to jump on the boat. And my other friend, Eric Noguchi, we're going to go out for 3 days and chase those fish around.
That should be great. www.opsonusa.com. And make sure you put in FA at checkout. And Greg Brown, the owner, will send you a handwritten note and a free gift. Isn't that great?
That is awesome.
No, it isn't. Yeah, no, it really is great. It really is. Ventura Sport Fishing, 805. Wow, are they just all over the sea bass up there right now? 805-676-3474. Frickin' those guys up there are getting 3 fish per rod right now. Creaming the white sea bass.
Oh, white sea bass.
Yeah, up there at Ventura.
Okay.
There was a guy on the Aloha Spirit who was sending me video as this was going on yesterday. Monahan is his last name. I'm sorry. Dennis, I think. Dennis, if you're watching, thank you so much. And my God, The deck was just littered
Yeah,
with sea bass.
I've been seeing
3
some pictures.
per rod.
What a time to be fishing.
Oh my God, right?
That's crazy.
And now the bluefin are starting to bite again.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like that switch is flipped on. We got the barracuda out here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yellows are starting to bite a little bit more at
Yeah.
Clemente. Everything seems to be coming together at the right time. Maybe it's Bill
I
being
can't-
here.
Yeah, you got it all.
Yeah, the fish are gonna bite. They heard I was in town.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Fish Taco Chronicle magazine. There it is, Sean. Next time you say I never show your magazine, I hit you with it, is what I ought to do. Malahini Sport Fishing down there at H&M Landing, www.malahinesportfishing.com. Daiwa, of course, our rod and reel sponsor. So happy. Hey, who's that guy right there?
Hey.
That was Bill.
Hey, what do you know?
So Slam and Sammy wants to know, what about custom spinning rods? Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
I would
most definitely.
think, right?
Yeah. Right now, I brought down some spinning rods because I'm throwing poppers for these tuna. If they're up on the surface,
Yeah.
it's much better to throw a spinning rod, in my opinion, for throwing poppers. So I make I make some popping blanks. I make a 10-footer and an 8-footer.
Really?
Oh yeah, a couple of popping blanks that are very popular down here, and I build them into spinning. So catching those tuna. Last year, 2 years ago, we got an 80 and a 60 and a bunch of smaller ones on that spinning rod with a nice accurate reel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, give us a couple more likes there. Only 11 likes. Come on, you schmucks. What's wrong with you tonight? Just kidding. Thanks, you guys. Sam and I've had this conversation over and over and over again, and it's spinning reels and rods, and how here in California, at least, you're stigmatized. Like, you're not a good fisherman if you're using a spinning reel. And, you know, Eddie Leland is another captain. He went out on the Judith Ann with me the other day, and he started throwing a lucky crab and broke out a spinning, you know, and I didn't see, there was nothing.
Yeah.
And he's one of the boys, you know, one of the guys.
Yeah.
And so that stigma, we've got to erase that somehow.
It's funny because in other parts of the country, it's 10-to-1 spinning and
Right,
casting.
like Florida.
Yeah, if you go to Florida,
Yeah.
everybody's got a spinning rod.
Yeah.
You know, well, you open up the bail and you cast it, and you get a lot of times you get a better cast with a spinning rod
Yes.
than you would with the bait casting rod, right? The only reason people are started using the bait casters because they had better drag systems in them.
Yeah.
Nowadays, with the technology, the spinning reels have great drag systems in them. I grew up fishing a Penn SS series, you know, 5500, but that's how I grew up. You know, in Hawaii, you know, catching bait fish for going catching uluos and things like that. But I think the spinning reels they're making nowadays, you know, Daiwa makes some good ones.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Daiwa makes some awesome spinning reels. The accurate spinning reels that they discontinued them, but I have a couple of them that work really good. You know, Van Stahl makes some good ones. You know, you can fight fish underneath water and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't discount the spinning rod at all.
Not at all.
I don't know.
You definitely not, right?
No, yeah.
You created that huge controversy at our casting thing by the guy that won. We had it wasn't even supposed to be a casting contest, but we had it, and a guy with a spinning rod and reel just kicked ass on everybody, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it was like, that's not fair, you know. And we're like, well, wait. The rule. We could divide it next time, but the rule at this particular event was bring your best
Yeah.
and see what you can do. And this kid, I forget his name, he did
spinning
it.
rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He knew how to use it.
Yeah, he did, right?
Yeah.
Man, he friggin', what did he get? Like 240 or something?
Something like that. It
Yeah.
was 5,
You
10
weren't
feet.
that far behind
No,
him,
it was
though.
like 5, 10 feet longer than us, though. I mean,
Yeah.
So I mean, it was farther.
Yeah.
I mean, no doubt about it. You know, I mean, at the very least, you can say it's not a hindrance. You're gonna catch just as far.
Oh yeah.
At least.
Right.
You know, if not farther.
Right.
You know, yeah.
The thing that's nice about it is that you can literally take somebody out on the water who's a new fisherman, and they can be casting within a few minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, and you're not dealing with, you know, bird's nests and screwing around with that. They're all of a sudden they're doing it. Do you think they'll ever come up with an answer to not being able to put your rod on the rail with a spinning reel? Is there any answer?
I don't know, but I mean, you know.
I guess you
part
just
of
don't fish the
you
giant
just
fish
don't.
with it.
Yeah. That's the whole deal. You limit. You know, you take that
Yeah.
out of the conversation. You know, and we have this big tuna around us right now, but that's not really normal.
Right.
Okay, that's not normal. You know, so during normal times, 99.9% of the fish you're going to catch
Are going to be
are
tackled
gonna be just
easily.
fine.
Yeah.
The gear's going to handle it just fine.
And especially now, we've got this barracuda bite going on. Perfect for that, right?
Yeah, but even the yellows that they were catching
Right.
on the squid, that sea bass, that'd be fine too. I mean, until that tuna comes up into our zone up here, San Clemente, I would still say you can go on any trip, half day, 3/4 day, overnight, day and a half, here out of LA, Ventura, and only take spinning rods, and you'd be just as well equipped as anybody else on the boat.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, a guy named Martin Padilla came down on our last 2-day trip, and we weren't catching anything giant, but we caught some nice big goats, sheep's head, and a few yellows, mostly small. But he won the jackpot both days with that spinning rod and reel, man. And he's a good fisherman. I mean, when he hooks a fish, he's on it. He follows it. He knows exactly what to do. He puts the right. So yeah, I wish that stigma would go away. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
249 was the winning cast. Jeff Yeomans, thank you, Jeff. Bill, will we see Albacore? Oh, he's going to rope you into that. I had some guy. I'll tell you about this.
Albacore, they're at my house.
Will we see Albacore this year? Do you believe tonight on the daisy chain, I'll pull one in the channel of Clemente to San Pedro? He's on the Freedom tonight.
Well, I hope you do, but we get a lot of them up there up in Washington.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we go out, anywhere between 30 to 70 miles and fill the boat.
Yeah.
In August and September.
That's pretty fun, isn't it?
It is fun. But
How do they fish them up there? Do they fish them
live
differently?
bait.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, same thing?
Yeah, we
drag
troll-
feathers, get a jig
we
strike.
troll around for them until we hook a couple of them, and then throw a handful of chovies out there and fly line a chovy and fish on.
Yeah, I mean, because you hear a lot of guys down here saying, "Oh, they don't know how to fish them out." Do you ever hear that?
Yeah, all the
It's
time.
just so what is that? Just like kind of a weird.
Yeah,
I'd
they're
say
just mad
jealousy.
because they
Yeah.
don't get them down here anymore.
Yeah, I know. We're gonna change that this year.
I hope so.
Jeez, I
There's
put
enough of them to go around.
I did an Albacore update today, and I was trying to respond to this guy. I still don't know. He said, you should take that report off before you get in trouble. Like, what, the FBI is going to come after me because I predicted Albacore? He said, you misrepresented what Bob, I had the guy said. And I'm like, wait a minute. I see Bob every day. I had a conversation with him this morning. So I think he thought I was quoting Bob from that thing, and I was like, hey, relax, it's just we're guessing. We're guessing about fish, calm down.
Nice.
Okay, but I talked to Bob, so anyway, Bob says we're going to catch Albacore this year down here. Yeah, yeah, that's what he says.
Did they get a rogue one like last year?
They got a rogue one, and I had predicted Albacore last year, so Bill, I was like, yeah, here it goes, man. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Some dumb lost fish.
Yeah, he got mixed in with the bluefin and thought that was his brother and hung out with him for a while.
Exactly, man. It was too much. TJ Smooth, what's up, Phil, my friend? It's good to see you here, TJ. So, the future of sword fishing with custom rods, is that going to be the thing, or?
Sword fishing?
Sport fishing in
sport
general. I mean, are more and more people getting into that?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to step out here. Yes, a lot of manufacturers. I support a lot of manufacturers.
Yeah.
Once you go custom, you won't go back. So if your buddy has a custom rod and it's built exactly how he wanted it, and the grips are the right size, and it might be spiral wrapped, or it might have his name on it. You're gonna
got your colors.
Got your colors. I'm a black and silver guy. I want my rod black. More people are gonna go, I want one like him.
I know.
Because the custom rod market continues to grow. There's over 200,000 rod builders in the United States.
Is there? How many?
200,000.
Wow.
Rod builders in the United States.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
When you think about that.
Yeah, if you think about that, it's a hobby. People do it.
Yep.
And I'm going to say 99.9 of those guys fish. So the other guys probably don't fish anymore because they're just old and they just want to wrap rods, give them to their buddies or whatever like that. But yes, the custom rod market continues to grow. It's a hobby that you can do, and you don't have to sit down and do it all in one day. I mean, you can stop. I can wrap a guide,
right.
I can go walk away. I know guys that work on rods. Took them a month to build it. Doesn't matter, right? When they have time, they go in there, they wrap a guide, or they do whatever they're going to do. And you can learn a lot of that stuff on the internet now.
Yeah, I know, right? You can learn everything on the internet, pretty
exactly,
much, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have videos that I did 15 years ago. I've had 40,000 people watch what you need just to start building fishing
That's
rods.
awesome.
All the way down to laying guides, to finish coats and everything. We have a whole video thing that we did like 15 years ago. I look a lot younger and no gray hair, all that kind of stuff.
At least you got hair.
Might be gray, but I still got it, right?
Hey, as big a pain in the neck as running the tackle store is and doing these podcasts and doing your thing, I think all of us can say that we love what we do.
Oh
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't actually feel like work when you do that, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'll go to bed at night and be thinking about that cup of coffee tomorrow morning.
Sure.
Thinking about like, I can't wait to get up and do that dumb morning briefing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
instead of, oh crap, I got to do the morning briefing. I'm more like, I got to do my research. I got to be up at 4:30. I got to, you know, blah 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 blah. And I love it. You do too, right?
Same thing, yeah.
You couldn't do this
I
if
don't
you
think
didn't.
You could, no. You couldn't. I mean, I think one of the things that I saw, before I opened my shop was, you know, talking to guys, and I think like anything else, you can get burned out, but you know, guys that maybe they got burned out, you know, and I think when you are of that
You mean doing a
mindset-
tackle store kind of thing? Yeah.
And I think when you're doing that, it shows. You can't really hide it,
You can't.
you know, and I think that when you're done, you're done. But right now, I love it, you know, so I think if you love doing it, you do it as long as you can, and as long as it brings you joy, and you know, and you can provide for your family. Yeah, you should do it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, you know. I
And
don't
same
think
with
I'm
you,
tired.
Bill. I can see
I
that
love
you
it.
love doing what
I
you're doing,
love
right?
what I do.
Do you love the travel part of it?
I love the travel.
You do?
I love the relationships. I love helping people. I'm the first one there in the morning. You know, I'm the CEO of multi-million. I don't need to be the first one there. I'm there at 5:30 in the morning. I make coffee for everybody when they come in. I'm the last one to leave when I'm at the facility. You know, and I love what I do. I'm a blessed man.
Yeah.
I'm a blessed man. I feel very blessed. God has blessed me and my family to be able to be in a position to do what we do and supply this industry. I wouldn't want to change anything.
When you start talking like that, I honestly believe that gratitude, feeling like you're blessed, is the key to happiness.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
right?
It is.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
I mean,
Because the times I'm the most miserable and I've spiraled out of control once in a while, being an alcoholic, it's when I'm like, why don't I have this? Or why am I in this position? Or, you know, instead of, oh my God, you know, there's somebody out there with cancer.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there that, you know, all you got to do is drive across the border and you see people can't feed their kids,
Right.
you know, and stuff like that. And that's when I get in, you know, that's when my brain goes crazy. And that's why I wake up every morning, try to get centered, if you know what I mean. You know, I'm grateful for, you know, having Sam as a friend.
sure.
Wait a minute, let me think that through. But isn't that true?
Oh, I totally believe that. You know, I grew up very financially challenged, right? We didn't have much. I mean, we were food stamp, government cheese poor, right? Working on a cattle ranch, and we worked hard to get what we have today. And I have, you know, 10 shirts that I like, and you know, when I was a kid, I was lucky if I had one shirt and a pair of flip-flops and a pair of shorts.
Yeah.
So anything above that is a blessing for me and my family, and I get to help people. I have, you know, thousands of people throughout the country that depend on what I do. Like I work with Sam. You know, he doesn't fully depend on me, but part of his business is he depends on me to support his business.
Yeah.
Right? And he supports me by buying my product. He
Right.
won't go buy other people's products, right? But that's how it works. I mean, that's what makes it work.
Right.
So yes, I'm very blessed. That's a great word I use. I use that word all the time.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm a blessed man.
We got to thank Tony and Janelle in the front office. They're watching the show right now because most of the time these shows go like 2 hours and 45 minutes and they've got to stay late because I'm blah, 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 a little too much. So, yeah, it's great. And I feel blessed to meet you and have you here on the show, man. It's great.
Thank you very much.
So your father, I mean, it sounds like a Horatio Alger story, rags to riches.
Yes.
He had a vision.
Yes.
And that's hard. That's hard when you're poor.
Yes.
That's hard because it doesn't happen overnight.
Well, people had to
it's,
help
it's,
us, too.
it's a long game.
Yeah. Yeah, people-
and you've got to be disciplined.
Yes.
You've got to have a vision. You mentioned you're a visionary on some things.
Yeah, my
Probably
father-
learned that from your father.
I learned that from my father. He was a visionary. You know, he saw things that needed to be done and saw things that were going to need to be done in the future, and he made it happen. You know, and I try to do the same thing. Part of my job is I'm the coach, I'm a player, and I'm the CEO of the company, right?
Yeah.
So being a player, I have to. I'm in the game all the time, right? But I'm also coaching everybody to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do because it's a team, right?
And motivating, right?
Yes, I'm a big motivator. I want to see people succeed. So I always push team because it's a team. We're all a team. You're part of the team. Sam's part of the team. We're all a team.
Right.
Because that's what makes it work.
Yep.
Is the team, right? And I've been a soccer player and a soccer coach my whole life, so I know about team dynamics. You know, you don't need a bunch of all-stars. You just need a bunch of guys that are going to work hard and care and have passion. Because
Yeah, remember Lake Placid, the USA hockey team, right?
exactly. Not a bunch of stars, but those guys had passion.
Yeah, right.
They wanted to make it work.
And they beat the Russians.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a night, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but you're right about that. And even the podcast, I forget who it was, but somebody out there said this Friedman Adventures family is starting to come together. Now I totally feel that way about the guys that are supporting me. They're part of this family.
Yep.
And now they're my clients. So when I do the morning briefing, I don't BS. I mean, if it's poor fishing, I feel bad but I just tell them because they're coming to me and they want the straight info.
Yep.
And now, exactly what you're saying, they're part of the family, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, we're all family. We're all part of a team, right? And we want it to be a win-win for everybody. You know, I've had people come to me and say, Bill, I got $1 million I want to spend with you. Well, why don't you spend $250 at a time? And if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it has to be a win-win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or it's not going to last.
it's not going to last,
Right.
right? I don't want to go ahead and take the guy's $1 million and it doesn't work.
Right.
You know, spend $500,000 with me, and if it doesn't work, you keep the other $500,000.
Yeah.
By that time, you'll figure it out, right?
Right.
But we're here to help. We're here to work with each other, right?
Right.
I mean, this is the fishing industry. I mean, this is the recreational industry. So, yeah, it's very important.
And you've got that attitude when people walk in your store, you're not upselling or anybody. I don't see that happening ever. That's why I send people to you all the time because I trust you.
Well,
It's the same thing too. I feel like people have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
You know, so you think, you know, you got to pass that on. You know, and I think the more you do that, the more it comes, type of thing. You know, a little bit of karma.
Yep.
You know, so to me, you know, same thing. I feel blessed. You know, I feel blessed to have people have helped me out, and I feel even more blessed to be able to help other people out.
Yep.
So when the time comes and you do it, you know, you don't ever expect nothing back, but it comes back. You know what I mean? So to me, it's the right way to be.
Part of my alcoholic training is when you're really feeling down and you're sorry for yourself, go help somebody else. Sure. And it sounded so counterintuitive to me when I first heard it. Like, wait a minute, I'm the one who needs help. What the hell am I going to go help somebody else for? It works.
Yeah,
it works because you walk out and then you open your eyes and you go, wait a minute. My problems are not all that big.
Right, yeah.
I'm looking at somebody, you know, as I said, cancer or something like that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just a great way to live your life, for sure.
It
Yeah.
is, you know.
Let's see. Brandon says, we believe in Albacore, Bill and Sam. He's lecturing you now. Well, there you go. We believe in him too, Brandon. We just
They're real.
Yeah.
They're real. They're actually out there.
You didn't think they were like snipe or something like that, right?
No.
Snipe hunting? All right, we believe in them too. For these big tuna, 100 plus pound tuna.
Yeah.
Roller guides or titanium guide? And go into detail. Why?
Roller guides, no. Don't need roller guides for these fish right here. You'll see those guys on Wicked Tuna using the roller guides, but they're never taking that rod out of the holder, and they're just pulling line in. It's a totally different fishery. I don't think you need roller guides for this fishery down here. Ring guides, titanium, Alps, heavy guides, that's all you need. And you don't even need the titaniums. All you're doing, because the rod...
You don't need the titaniums.
No.
Okay.
The titaniums are nice because they're corrosion proof and they're lighter, but really, do you need them? 316 black heavy Alps, that's all you need.
Uh-huh.
You know,
You agree with
good.
us, right? I can see you shaking your
So
head.
many of those
Yeah,
guides.
yeah.
I mean, it's got to be 1,000 sets a year of those guides.
Yeah.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And we repair maybe 4 or 5 a year. I mean, it's crazy.
Right.
You know, these things are so durable, so affordable. They look good, and they work great. I mean, and that's just us. I got to imagine Southern California's got to do like 20,000 sets. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, we do a lot of sets.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do a lot of sets down
Yeah.
here. So I've got some really good supporters down here. A little shout out to Randy at United Composites.
Yeah.
He's been a big supporter. You know, since he started United Composites, I went to him and asked him if he would partner with me, and he did, and we helped each other out. You know, in the beginning, there's Pat over at CalStar has been using some of our reel seats and some of our other product lines. Seeker. They do a good job. They buy parts from us. United Composites buys components from us. So we've got a lot of good partners down here.
Yeah.
We continue to build the brand, but it's the relationships, right? We're helping each other out. We're working with each other.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
That United Composite rod, I don't know if you'll remember, Bob Gifford, the guy that I sent
Yeah,
you
yeah,
over.
yeah.
So he jumped on this Amigo 2-day trip.
Nice.
And he loved it. And I fished with it. See, I don't get to fish because I'm shooting video and stuff, but when we rock cod, which is like I love that. I commercial rock cod as a kid, and I love it. So there's no use filming the rock cod paddle. I mean, it's some guy going like this, right? I don't have to film that. So I just run back, shoot photos of all the fish they caught. I was having a frickin' ball with that rod. That thing was bitching.
Yeah,
And
really
we were at Nick and catching some really nice big Boccaccio and big reds and really good fishing. That rod is a nice rod, and now I get to meet the guy who's kind of behind it, right?
Randy designs the blanks. He
Right.
does a great job, right?
Randy has a reputation of being like almost a genius, or he's really good at what he does.
He does a really good job. He could be a lot bigger than he is, but he's very conservative that way. He wants to keep it pretty small.
Yeah.
You know, and very. Everybody wants those rods.
Yeah.
He wants to control that, right?
Yeah.
And when you get too big, sometimes you lose control.
You do.
You know, that's why, you know, I travel a lot. I have 5 managers that manage different departments. I trust everybody I have, you know, and things like that. But I just want to say the Southern California rod builders, you know, from Jim Trulecki's to Doc Ski. I mean, there's so many. Pat Mayer. I mean, a bunch of these guys down here have really stood behind the Batson product lines and really supported us. And that's what helps us continue to grow down here. Like Sam's been a supporter of Batson. He pushes it. We do shows together. You know, where Sam's here and I'm here because I don't sell at shows. I'm a wholesaler.
Yeah.
Right. You can come in and ask me all the questions you want and everything. Or go over there and see one of my distributors.
If you want to buy.
Yeah, if you want to buy. And Sam's usually right across from me.
Yeah.
Makes it easy for the guys to walk over there and say, Sam, Bill gave me this note. He said, well, I need some of these.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
things
right.
like that. But we couldn't do it without each other.
Right.
I mean, we just couldn't. I mean, if I tried to go retail, I would have, you know, 70,000 accounts instead of 700. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I'm a bulk dealer. I'm a designer. You know, I'm a visionary. I'm a supplier. You know, those types of things. You know, my job is to go around the world and find the best manufacturers for specific items. You know, I do carbon in North Africa. I do cork in Portugal. You know, I do blanks in Korea.
Oh my God, you get to travel all these places? I love it.
I do blanks in the United States. I mean, I do some metalworking. My extreme reamers are made in the United States. I mean, so my job is to go qualify these factories and then send my designers over there to teach them how to do it.
That's great.
So.
How about China, Taiwan?
Yep. Oh, Taiwan's huge for me.
Is
that's
it?
That's where Alps is. We have 11 multi-function CNCs working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Taiwan's a great country, isn't it?
Just cutting aluminum for me.
We're not supposed to say country, actually, right? You know, it's a runaway province from China. It's a country, right?
They have totally different work ethic. They care about what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, the Chinese, they're just going to make what you show them. They don't care if they're making a widget or if they're making a broom. They don't know. They don't know. They're just making it, right?
Yeah.
At least the Taiwanese, they have a lot of pride in what they do, and they're very honorable. I've worked with this one family over there, the Lin family, for 23 years, and I know I can trust them. My dad worked with the dad. Now I'm working with the son. You know, my dad passed away 19 years ago and kind of dropped this thing in my lap. You know, he just passed away. The worst day of my life.
I'm sure.
You know, obviously,
Yeah.
losing your dad, and he was young. He was 54.
Oh my
And
God,
we were
too
just-
young.
And we're just getting this thing rolling. We had the largest blank factory in the United States at the time. It was a big deal. But the loyalty that you get from the Taiwanese, you're not going to find that in China.
You don't have to tell me because my brother's married to a girl from Taiwan. He lives in Taiwan. I visited there a lot. But I had this one high school student, Julia was her name, super great kid, and brilliant. Beyond bright, really bright. And she loved my class. And she came to me one day and said, "Hey, could you write I want to go to Duke University, and Duke has a chapter in Kunshan, China. Can you write my letter of recommendation?"
Right.
Sure, yeah. So I wrote a letter of recommendation. She got in, and she left me. I have it somewhere. She left me this tearful, thankful, I got in because of you.
Yeah.
And man, I still tear up when I
Sure.
hear it. And I still check with her all the time. How's everything going? She was going crazy during the pandemic.
Right.
But I probably shouldn't say this and admit this in public, but so foreign teachers, like, you have it pretty easy compared to the Chinese teachers. They do home visits, they do all this stuff. And foreign teachers, you teach your class, but you do it when you get to the finals, you got to correct 500,000 tests. So I was looking at the foreign teachers and they're like, "Oh my God, can you believe this? It's so horrible." And I'm like, "Hey, Julia, didn't you say you were like hurting for money? Like you needed, And she goes, "Yeah." I was like, I go, "How'd you like to correct 500,000 tests?"
Right.
And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll do that." And I go, so I'm walking down the hall and these other like guys from Chicago, New York, and "Oh my God, this is this." I go, "Oh, it's awful." And I'd walk out the front, walk down to the mall and go see Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. So Julia made money, probably did a better job correcting the test. I gave her the key and everything. But great people, wonderful people.
Yeah, the Taiwanese.
So freaking smart. Some of these kids.
And the Taiwanese are very, like I said, very honorable people.
And same thing in China. I have to admit, I have dear friends, and those kids are beyond smart also.
Right.
All right, let's see. What do we got here? We got Bill 9N, your composite blanks. How come it doesn't bend into the other material like your other rods? Is it just straight across instead of blending in like your other flagged rods? Does that make sense to you?
No, that didn't make any sense.
Am I reading that correctly?
Thanks. How come? Doesn't.
Wait, and then Stevie, Sam Staff.
Oh,
Do you get it?
Asking.
it might be the SC blanks.
Steve, if you could clarify that.
Yeah.
Steve says he came back and said Sam's staff is the best, always willing to help. You said that also. And he meant to say
Special carbon.
Yeah,
Which one?
special carbon blank.
I think that's what we were talking about today. The difference between the sleeve type versus the
Yeah,
flag type.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we put that material over the top,
Yeah,
it stiffens it. That's why it doesn't go all the way to the top. That's why we don't put that special carbon all the way to the tip, because it just makes it too stiff.
Yeah.
Right? It makes it too stiff. It doesn't get to give you the action. So that's why we only put that special carbon on the handle where it should shut off at that point.
yeah. So I'm a guy, an entrepreneur, and I want to start a business building rods. Can I make a living doing that?
Building rods?
Yeah.
What kind of living you want to
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Supplemental. A lot of.
is that what it is?
A lot
But
of custom
can't you
rods.
like employ like other
Oh, yeah,
people?
sure. Oh,
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, get
what
a
if
drum
I?
dryer, but the initial buy-in is tough
Yeah.
to start a factory or to start build a rod factory, because you got to buy drum dryers and you have to have employees and
Yeah.
it's a lot.
So
of work.
yeah, it's hard if you're just trying to break in, right?
Yeah, so I do have people around the country if I need some rods built, 100 rods or 200 rods or 300 rods. I mean, I got guys in Texas that'll build bass rods, for 30 to 40 bucks a piece.
Yeah.
I'll send them all the components. They build them up and they sell it to my customer. Joe's Tackle Box wants 500 rods. So I send them all the components and they build them and send them to them. So people do it. Making a living, tough way to make a living.
So it's more of you got a
Supplement-
full-time job,
Supplemental
and on the weekends you're doing that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You can make a few
after
bucks,
work.
right?
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
could.
In Southern California right now, I would say is probably the best it's ever been for just financially for rod builders. There are a few guys who I think do a pretty good job. I don't know, I don't know how you would compare it to the hours. It's a lot of hours, so it's not easy money. So yeah, I mean, if you're that kind of person that can sit there and do that 14, 16 hours a day.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
You can
It's
do
very
it.
tedious.
Yeah.
I would think.
It's not that it's tedious. It's just it just takes that much time to make that many rods, to make that much money, to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
But there's some guys that can do that. But it's not that easy. I would say it's not something that I would, like how Bill's saying. I mean, it's probably more of a supplemental thing. But there's a few guys who can do it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a few guys that are there 6 days a week, 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day, and they turn the rods. I just there's not that many guys that have that part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as far as being able to wrap a rod, when you get good, when you get to where you're, you wrap, let's say 60, 70 rods or something like that, you've got your speed down. When you get into some of the simpler wraps, you can get a rod done in an hour. As far as the thread work.
Yep.
You can't count the finish work, but let's just say
In an hour?
Yeah.
You
Wow.
can wrap guides in an hour. You can wrap
Yeah.
around in an hour.
Wow.
That's a guy who's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's great
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. When I was younger, wife and 3 kids, I built rods after work. I worked in the family business, and then went home and had my own custom rod shop, Wild Bill's, and I was making $30 an hour. Built rapid rods.
Yeah.
If you can make $30 to $40 an hour,
That's
rapid
not too
rods,
bad,
it's
right?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
I did it as a supplemental, because we weren't as big as we are now, where I didn't have to have a second job, but to wrap rods to make money on the side, sure.
Definitely, definitely.
I mean, there's guys like Moon. I mean, Moon raps full time, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, there's lots of
He
guys
doesn't have
who
a
do
full.
it.
He doesn't have
Yeah.
a full job, does he?
No.
No, I don't think
No.
so. I mean, there's
No,
Moon
there's
and
guys who
Freddie
do it.
and yeah.
And the key with those guys is that they're fast.
Yeah.
You know, some guys just never get that fast. You know, so I think if you can develop those skills,
They can turn them out fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can turn 40, 50 rods in a week.
Jeez.
Potentially.
Yeah.
You know, now
then you're
talking,
making some bucks,
now you're talking
right?
some real money.
Yeah.
But that's a long days right there.
Those
Some
are long days.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
like he's saying with the dryers, the whole deal is that when you put the finish on, you got to do multiple coats, and it takes 6 hours before you can put a new coat on. Well, those spots, they got to keep turning. So you got to have some type of mechanism that's turning that many 40, 50 rods at a time.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
You know a guy named Albert Ponce? Hey, Phil, we are the proud winners of Sam De La Torre 8-foot rod giveaway from the Pacific Fishing Show.
Oh, yes.
And by the way, that rod got a 110-pound tuna
Nice.
a week and a half ago in Ensenada. Way to go, Albert.
Nice.
Let me tell you, that rod rocks. I'm quoting Albert. And, hey, Crystal Ponce. I got to give a shout out to her. She's actually the one who won it. So Crystal made it happen. Albert caught the fish, I assume. Great stuff, man. That makes you feel good, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
N6UN, there's no money in building the rod. The money is in the bling of the rod or billing of the rod.
The bling of the rod. Maybe.
Bling of the rod, maybe.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really about speed. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, let's just say you're gonna charge a guy just to make it easy, $100.
Yeah.
You get the rod in an hour. It's $100 for that hour. But a lot of guys might take 4 or 5 hours to build that rod.
Yeah.
So, you know, it all depends on that. You know, so there's money to be made, but you got to be fast.
Marco, go ahead.
Yeah, basic rod for me when I was building, per se, a tuna rod that I'd sell down here. You got, and this is just basic wraps, maybe a couple inlays on the first couple guides, you know, double wrap. You know, you got 5 hours into that rod. You know, and if you're making $30 an hour, that's $150. You know, plus the components is another $130. So, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's doable.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, it's doable.
Marco Infante, hey fellas, big fan of the show. Marco, thank you so much. This is crazy watching this episode. I bought a Range Shadow Blank RCT B76
Yeah.
XXH
Yeah.
from Island Fishing Tackle, and it's getting made by John. He came highly recommended. Marco, that's awesome. I mean, what a small world, huh?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's a great blank. It's going to catch a lot of good fish with that.
Is that a good blank? Is that one you would recommend?
That's one of my top sellers.
And that is for what grade of fish?
You're looking 200, 300 pounders.
Yeah, I would say that blank right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
unlimited.
Geez, if you can, if I had the capacity to build 50 of those rods, you know, in the next week, because a lot of the manufacturers are actually kind of running low. You know, Secret, United Composite. Man, I kind of need those, and so that's the blank. If you're going to build your own rod or have someone build you a rod, that double XH is perfect.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I just sold a bunch of them to H&M Landing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sold a bunch of blanks and components to one of their builders who's building for H&M, and they love them. I mean, I built them 25 6 months ago, and they've been renting them out for rental rods. And guys been buying them after they go fishing. They rent it for $100 for a trip. And then they come. Well, I want to keep this rod. How much more is it? So
that's great. Yeah. What's it cost to rent a rod down there now? I have no idea.
You know what? I think the landings are different, but I want to say about $100
a
day.
For a day?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, that's a big rod. It's not your
Yeah, I know.
Jigmaster and an old rod. It's a 2-speed Talica typically.
Right.
And a nice rod, $500.
Don't drop it over.
Yeah.
No, you're paying for it.
Yeah, exactly.
$1,000 outfit.
But if you're on like a 5-day trip, hell, you might as well buy one, right?
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah.
But that's for the rod and reel. That's a $1,000 outfit.
Yeah.
Rod and reel line.
So so shout out to some of the guys down here to give me.
Yeah, please do. They're probably listening.
Yeah, to give us a lot of love. Obviously, I mentioned Sam and the manufacturers, but there's guys like John Yamati down at Seaforth. I mean,
great guy.
6 years ago, and I walk in there and trying to build my business down there, and he gives me a shot. Bill, I'll buy 300 blanks from you.
Wow.
And builds them up and use them as his rental rods.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean,
John's a great guy.
Yeah, John's a great guy. I mean, and he gave me an opportunity, right? Because he saw, he wasn't getting serviced by the other people.
Yeah.
Right? And he says, Bill, I mean, if you can do this, I'll take 300 blanks from you.
Yeah.
And he's been a supporter of mine ever since,
It's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I built a relationship with him. And Dustin, his right-hand man down there, and they're building them right there at the shop. Yeah, they build them right there at
That's
the shop.
awesome.
So, I mean, shout out to guys like that. Guys,
Yeah.
that build relationships with, down here. It's just amazing.
I should give a shout out to Mike Morrison and Mark Paisano and Paul Strasser who provided this
Right.
to get me started. I was like, I can't afford anything right now.
Yeah.
I'm back from China. In fact, the Chinese teacher that I taught with, she goes, "What do you want me to ship you now? Because I got microphones and everything over there." So she's going with a camera and she goes, "Do you want this?" And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "What is? Hey, there's an envelope full of cash here." And I go, "There is?"
Yeah.
She goes, "Yeah, what do I do with it?" And I go, "I don't know. Buy groceries, I guess, I don't even remember I left that. So I guess obviously I left. Yeah, too
Did
funny.
you leave in a hurry?
Well, I left thinking I was going right back again.
that's what it
Oh
was.
my God. Anyway, that's another story, right?
Yeah.
Marco Infante says, "I met Sam from the shop. What a cool dude." He must not know you that well.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. All the guys were really, really helpful. What brand and size reel do you recommend for that size rod? And by the way, Oscar Geronimo says, "Sorry for tuning in late. Good evening, guys." He's fired, right? For tuning in late. So what size reel do you?
Sam?
Or size rod?
That RCTB, you
Yeah.
can go anywhere from like a Macaira 16 to a Macaira 30.
Uh-huh.
That rod has a lot of range, I always ask people when they're asking me which reel am I going to get or which rod am I going to get. If that's your biggest rod, then get a reel that's big. That rod will certainly handle it. If you have another bigger rod, then you might slot it a little bit lighter. But to me, that's as heavy a rod as you need.
Yep.
So I would put on there either like an International 20, from a 16 to a 30, International or Macaira is probably the way I would go.
Yeah. All right. N6 UN. In casting for distance, is it the reel, the person casting, or the rod? And what is the perfect surf casting rod? It's probably all three of those, right?
It is. It's
Yeah.
a combination
Go ahead,
of
Bill.
all three. It's
What
a
do you-
combination of all three,
Yeah.
right? Obviously the reel has a lot to do with it. I know a lot of guys who are doing casting and stuff, they'll modify bearings, put better bearings in some of these reels, and it's all about how you load the rod.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it's about how you load the rod when you're casting. So. all
Wh-
three of them.
What's a good blank for surf fishing? Now, Bob Osborne, he's the scientist who's going to kill me because I misquoted him. But he says he always looks for like a steelhead type
Yep.
of
Yeah.
rod.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that resonates with you, both
Yeah.
you guys,
Oh,
huh?
most definitely. We sell, we're in the Great Northwest.
Yeah.
Right? So we do a lot of steelhead. That's one of our big game fish in the rivers.
Yeah.
So people say, "Hey, I want a surf rod." I say, "How long do you want it?" I mean, we have from an 8.5 all the way to a 10.5.
Yeah.
13 foot. I mean, how long do you want it?
Yeah.
Because they're not throwing big leads, and you're
No.
surf fishing. You're throwing smaller baits. Any one of those steelhead rods. Basically, it's about the length in the lure and the line class.
So a 10-foot rod, and I'm throwing I like to throw a 3/4 ounce crocodile.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So
So a 10 foot, I would go with the Revelation Steelhead series in 10 foot.
yeah.
Yeah. And they're 2-piece, so it's easier
Oh
to
shoot,
travel.
really?
Oh yeah.
What about that? Is there a lot of good traveling rods?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we have a lot of good travel rods. We have peacock bass rods. We have small trout rods. We have popping rods. One of the big ones for a while down here was people were going down to Mexico. There's a place, Cedros or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and they wanted to take their 10-foot rods, but they couldn't put on the airplane. So what we
Yeah,
did,
right.
Yeah, so what we did is we made a 2-piece 10-footer that people can take down there, for throwing poppers or whatever they
Yeah.
want to fish with,
Yeah.
or bigger irons and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of good travel rods out there. We can design anything. I mean, we've sold over 1 million blanks under the Batson.
Oh my God.
There's over 1 million blanks in the Batson. Last year we sold close to 120,000 blanks.
Oh my God.
So we design, and a lot of our business is private label. That's why a lot of people never hear of us.
Oh, okay. So
so-
you build it and they put their name on
Yeah,
it.
Joe's Tackle Box wants 1,000 rods,
Yeah.
or 1,000 blanks. He's not going to put my name on it. It's Joe's Tackle Box blanks,
Right.
So so we can design anything. People have us design all the time. We're constantly working on new blanks.
There's a bass that's going to pop up here. I've been waiting for it, and of course it's not. But it was just caught at Cedros.
That's the one it is.
Yeah, that's an ass, not a bass. Anyway, there's the Three Stooges. Did you recognize them? And everybody out there, is this distracting or are you enjoying this? I don't know. I decided.
Little bit of both.
Well, I used to have a slide up there, with Friedman Adventures, but I can't figure out how to keep it up there. So I go, God darn it, I'm going to figure this slideshow out. Right before Bill walked in, I go, oh shoot, it just keeps playing. I love this. I'm good with that.
That sounds good, yeah.
Cedros is a great place to fish, man. Have you flown into Cedros?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
I want to do it.
You fish there long range, I'm guessing?
Yeah,
me too.
That's some good fishing over there.
We used to do that on Father's Day and
you did?
take the Polaris Supreme on a 5-day trip all the time. Yeah, it's a great fishery. So it's shut down to the San Diego guys now, so you got to fly to the island.
Oh, okay.
As you know,
Yeah, I've heard,
those
yeah.
guys wanted those rods, and yeah, it's fun, huh?
Yeah.
And it's not only yellow. I mean, a lot of people think it's yellowtail. It's big calico bass, halibut, white sea bass. I wonder how the surf fishing, if you walk around the island and fish, is. It's probably good.
Halibut.
Yeah.
I know I was talking to the one guy, Adriel. He works on the World Star. He's from the island. He says, "Oh yeah, there's a few beaches you can walk to. It's for sure like all the halibut you want."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love that.
Straight wide open.
Yeah.
He said, you just got to walk a little bit, but he's like, it's pretty freaking good, A couple spots, calico spots you can fish off the beach. Same thing. He's like, all the calico you want. It's pretty unique place.
So let's match up with what is currently going on right now. We got a great barracuda bite going on out here right now. What blank would you recommend? First of all, would you recommend a person go 10 feet, like right off, or is that too big a rod
8,
for
10?
Yeah.
8 maybe,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah. So those are the
10's a
9-foot
big
blank.
rod for.
Yeah. I would say that SW, like 1088.
Yep.
Something like that. That's a number of inches it is. It's 108 inches.
Yeah.
But a 1088 probably be perfect. You get into a jig stick. They have that RCJB 106H. It's kind of a heavier rod,
Yeah.
but it works fine. So if you wanted more of a traditional West Coast jig stick, that RCJB 106H. I actually kind of pulled one out of our inventory and wrapped it up. I want to fish it a lot this year. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
It's a little heavier than a 90J,
Uh-huh.
because it's got the graphite in the bottom part of the rod. But it's a rod that I would think would definitely be fine on the Barracuda. But some of those Barracudas, sometimes you think about, I'm pretty sure, the rod is going to catch the fish, no problem.
Yeah.
A lightweight rod.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you bounce a fish, depending on the boat, you can do it, you can't. So you got to have a rod that has some meat to it.
Right.
So that, to me, that 106H would be nice. Even if you got a big Barracuda.
You can throw it on?
No problem.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's dangerous, but it's really part of the
Part
fun,
of the fun,
right?
yeah. Throwing them on, yeah.
It's really
You gotta
great.
bounce it.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Eric Ramos says, Sam, we've got a seat for you at Cedros
I
in
know.
September. Are you going to take him up on that?
There's a trip that the shop has around that time that there's a possible.
You have
opening.
a trip?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and you don't go?
No,
Yeah.
but I might. I'm talking myself into it little by little here. Yeah.
Yeah, you should, man.
know.
Yeah, that would be great. Hey, I need to talk to you too about July 16th and a kids trip in the afternoon. Maybe we can get some of your guys to.
Sure.
I'm tied up that day, but Friends of Rollo
Uh-huh.
reached out to me and said, hey, if you want to take some kids, I've got the kids, but I'm kind of tied up that.
Is it here?
It's Dana Wharf, I think.
Wharf?
Yeah.
We'll talk about
We'll
it.
figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just thought before I forget, I'd mention that to you. Steve says, come on, Sam. The seat is waiting for you.
Both those guys, yeah.
Slam and Sammy wants to hear about your latest trip on board the Royal Star. Why don't you tell us about it? How was it? Because people want to know.
Yeah. We did have some slow fishing. We did catch a couple nice fish one morning on the knife jigs. I think we got one fish in that same morning that was on that sinker rig, but most of the fish were on the knife jigs. We did catch some daytime fish on smaller fish, 20 to 40 pounds on fly line in
Yeah.
the daytime. But overall, it was a pretty slow trip.
It's been tough down
It's
there.
been tough, yeah.
Till recently. Like,
So we kind of caught it on the bottom,
Yeah.
the bottom part of the circle there. It looks like it's turned back on to kind of.
It sounds
what
like
we
it's-
had. Yeah.
the one thing that has been going on, Bill and Sam and everybody, while it's been slow, I don't know if this was your experience or not, but what I've been hearing and talking to a lot of the captains, they're seeing it.
Oh my
There
gosh.
are, did you
Well,
see tons of it?
Tons of it. So that's
Yeah.
the one thing. We
That's
worked-
so frustrating.
We worked
Yeah,
hard.
it is.
We worked hard. We fished all 3 nights till 2 in the morning, and the crew was up and the captains were up looking for fish, and we tried real hard, and we stopped on a lot of fish, and we had an opportunity to go up and kind of like to see, screen fillers. I mean, just big schools of fish. So they're there, you know. Obviously they're, and then even on the surface, we saw huge breezers. I mean, breezer after breezer after breezer, just giant schools of fish. So it isn't like they went anywhere. It's just
They're off the
they're
bite.
just off the
Nose
bite.
in the
Yeah.
mud, as we say,
Yeah,
right? Yeah. But when when this thing
Oh, yeah.
goes fully on, it's going to be insane.
Well, I'm going to be out there on Sunday, so.
Yeah. You know what? I think your timing's impeccable.
I think so,
Really,
too.
it seems like it's going to turn on. Bring me back a piece of bluefin, will you, Bill? Dino Ricchetti. Dino's a great guy. I met him down in San Diego. He's such a huge fan of the show, and I appreciate it. Good evening, guys. Great show. Slideshow is great. Been to Cedros, monster bass, halibut from shore, just as you said. There's nothing like catching. Have you ever caught a halibut surf fishing?
Yes.
Isn't that bitching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Newport
you?
Beach.
Yeah.
Newport Beach.
There's
Right
nothing
there.
better, is there?
Yeah, catching halibut.
Have you caught a legal fish?
I think no.
Yeah, they're
No.
hard to come
My
by.
dad got one. I was with him one time. I got my personal best halibut this year, 131 pounder,
Oh shoot!
right in front of my house.
Really?
Yeah.
Up in Washington?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
80
You went
feet-
out?
80 feet of water.
Really?
Yeah.
Fishing with?
Fishing.
Let's hear what you were fishing with.
I was
Bait
fishing
or?
with, yeah, fishing
Uh-huh.
with dead bait.
Uh-huh.
I was using American shad. Yeah, a whole shad. You know, obviously on a rain shadow. It was a tough stick TS66 MH that I had spiral wrapped. I've had that rod for a long time. It was built by an old custom rod builder that's no longer with us that I still fish with. And yeah, it was a great fish.
That's an Alaskan halibut, obviously, is it? Is that what it is? Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
Northwest. But that's a big one for us.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I've been up there for going on 25 years, and my biggest one was 80 before that.
Man, what'd you think when you saw that thing?
Oh, wow. It was a monster.
So how did you subdue it? Because they're nasty when you get them on the deck, huh? Do you have a shotgun or something?
Yeah, we
or?
shoot them.
Yeah.
We harpoon them. We harpoon them and let them fight the bowie for a little while.
Yeah.
The big ball. Then we bring them in. Then you shoot them. You know, yeah. You don't want to bring that thing on board.
No way.
It'll break your leg.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Even little ones by comparison, like a 30-pounder, they frickin' tear the boat up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're brutal.
definitely.
And some people don't realize that. I don't know about Alaskan halibut. You can tell me. Do they have a set of teeth that's
yeah.
brutal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to get...
Ambush predators, man, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are nasty.
Yeah.
So you're going on what boat did you say again?
The prime time.
Oh,
Jake.
that's right. You're on a yacht, huh?
Yeah. pretty
And it's a
much.
3-day trip?
It's a 3-day.
Yeah.
It's we leave Sunday night, come home Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of a deal. So that'll be fun.
DJB, interested to hear thoughts on acid wrapped rods.
Oh, yeah.
Gimmick
No.
or legit?
No, it's no gimmick. This is not a gimmick. I personally have been fishing my whole life.
Yeah.
I'm 55. I've been fishing since I can remember. The first time I fished, I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Mostly spinning rods, you know, so the guys were always on the bottom. For about 15 years now, I've been fishing with the spiral wrap rods. Takes all the torque out of the rod, especially with bigger fish, deep water, bigger fish. When you're fighting a fish, you're always really having and cranking because they have bigger reels on them. Well, it takes a lot of the torque out of the rod.
Yeah.
So I can hold the rod like this and crank, and the rod's not going to roll back and forth.
Yeah.
So it's not gimmick. It's a cool deal. I know some people think it looks odd and everything. But
It does look a little odd, right? Yeah.
It does look odd.
But it functions,
But
right?
it works.
Yeah.
It works great. You can use a casting reel, you know, where you would have to use a spinning reel if it was on the other way. But it's not a gimmick. I swear by it for big fish. That's all I'm going to say.
Agree or disagree?
You know, I have.
I want to get a little controversy going there.
I haven't used it as often, but with the amount of people that do it, you know, it can't be a gimmick. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's not gimmick.
it's not. You know, the degree as to how much it helps you, you know, there's definitely a matter of degree, and I think that for some people, it's going to really feel way better. So it's something to consider for sure. You know, and you can find a few rods factory made that way, not too many.
Yeah.
But if you have a chance of trying one out, I think if you've ever wondered, you know, you try one out, and if it's something you like to do, then do it. But I think for a lot of people, it's the way to go. And it seems like the guys who do it, that's all they have.
Yep.
You know,
So they get hung on it. Yeah, they get hung up on it.
So,
They see it's effective. And
for sure, yeah.
the slow pitch rod that I had was acid rod. Are most slow pitch rods acid rod?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
All mine are too.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I go to a show, like I'll be in ICAST next month, which is the largest.
Where's that at?
in Florida.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do they move from Florida to Vegas?
Yeah,
Go
they
back-
used to, but they don't go
It
back
just
to
stays in
Vegas.
Florida?
I wish they would go back to Vegas because
Yeah.
it's a lot closer for me.
Yeah, and you love to bet on the horses while you're in there. So, no, I don't know about that.
I'll play little cards once in a while.
Oh, there you are. What do you like to play? Hold'em?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we'll take
Well,
some.
we can have a game after the pod. We should have one during the
We
podcast.
could, you know.
I think Bill will clean our clocks, don't you, Sam? Yeah.
But no, I'll be in ICAST next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a big 40x40 island, and we do all the bells and whistles, and you know, it's an industry show. It's a wholesaler show.
Right.
And, you know, it's the largest one in the world. But we'll be there, and this will be our 20th year displaying at that show.
Do you go to it?
No.
Have you ever gone to ICAST?
I went to it when it was in Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I mean, I would like to go to it, but it's just too busy. This is the busiest time of the year.
Yeah.
If it was another time of the year, I probably would be able to go.
Brian Shaw from the LA Lakers was the guest speaker, and I actually arranged that whole thing. So I went just because I was the guy who arranged it, not because I was anybody
He was the
special.
industry speaker the morning it started.
Yeah, were you there? Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
there you are. Okay, I saw him. I forget. He was screwing around playing slot machines, and he was late for it. I go, "Hey, Brian, you're supposed to be." It might have been that speech. I got in trouble with him in Cancun, or where was that?
Where was that?
Oh, it was Playa del Carmen, and we were shooting
back when you were drinking?
Yeah, it was. We were shooting a TV show, and there was a big fight between Shaq and Kobe at that time. I can't remember exactly what it was, but him and his wife Nikki, they were drinking tequila. I was drinking, and he goes, "Do you want to know the real deal on the fight?" And I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah!" So we drank till 3 a.m. or whatever, and then I heard the story, which lips are sealed, and then he didn't show up for the TV show in the morning, and so the producer of the TV show is chewing me out. And he's like, "Why did you know?" And I go, well, "Wait a second, he's a freaking adult. I didn't pour the booze down his throat. I'm here. My head hurts, and I want to go home and go back to bed." But, so anyway, I got blamed for that one too. Sorry, Bisha. It was Sam's fault. All right, Brandon says, "Look outside, Sam and Bill." We can't look outside. We're doing a podcast. Clouds looking like cotton balls. That means the wind blew off the ocean.
Poetic.
Means calm weather.
Yeah.
What do you think? Curious about your observations.
Sam, what do you think about clouds?
Cotton balls.
Clouds?
Brandon?
He's gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
Talk about somebody drinking tonight.
He's already
Brandon,
started.
are you in the bottle?
Yeah.
He's probably.
I smelt him earlier walking by.
I
Didn't we?
think so, yeah.
Hey, can we get a few more likes? We can't. I'm going to shut this show down if we don't get up to 50 likes, you guys. Thanks so much. All right, I got to ask this question for my
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
Bass rods, freshwater bass rods.
Oh, we've got a heck of a selection.
I'm sure you do.
I think I have the best bass blanks. Well, I think I have the best rods, but I think I have the best bass blanks that I've ever built. It's called the Eternity line.
Eternity line.
They're made in Korea.
Boys, are you listening? They're not listening.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, but I'll turn them up.
They're made in Korea. I
Uh-huh.
used to have them made in the United States, but they couldn't keep them consistent. So I took my patterns and my designs over to Korea, and these are the best bass blanks
Really?
anybody will ever have.
Yeah.
The Eternities.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So I think I have 11 models, everything from drop shotting to frogging, anything you can ever think of.
Yeah.
You know.
So do you carry that? The Eternity rods?
I don't.
Uh-huh. You're more saltwater,
Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
we've special ordered a few for a couple guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it was-
Where would I
it was
find
very
those
nice.
here in SoCal? Do you supply Bass Pro Shops by any chance?
No,
Or anybody-
we don't. We don't do a lot of bass here in California. It's mostly dominated by other labels, unless it's a custom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of guys don't do a lot of custom bass rods here. It's more Texas, Louisiana, Midwest, you know, kind of a deal.
Where's bass fishing more popular in the United States?
Texas.
Uh-huh.
Texas is huge in Texas.
Is California big or not?
California's pretty big.
Pretty
too,
big?
yeah, for the Delta and things like that.
Right.
People fish.
Yeah.
I've actually fished in a couple tournaments on the Delta, frogging tournaments and things like that. But Texas is big. Louisiana. That's usually where I do my bass fishing.
Yeah.
A lot of research and development with the bass guys.
Lucky guy.
Yeah, you know, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
really.
Somebody's got to do it.
Do you ever fish on foreign territory? Like when you're in Taiwan, do you fish?
No.
Yeah,
you
you're
know.
all business pretty
So,
much?
Yeah, I'm there in and out. I don't spend a lot of time sightseeing.
Yeah.
And usually when I go to a new facility, I go to qualify them, make sure the management is right and they treat their people good. And then I tell the owner, if you see me again, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because usually I just send my designers.
Yeah.
I got other people that go do that for me.
Yeah. The guy with the cotton ball clouds, Brandon, he says, I'm on my way. I think he's, I'm not driving, Phil. Okay, he's on the Freedom. Just don't fall overboard.
I'm not driving, he says.
I love this guy, man. He's providing all the entertainment here tonight.
Nice.
Blue skies. How do you fly into Cedros? Would you like to take that? Do you know exactly?
So usually you book the trip through one of the resorts, and they provide it. So there's out of the CBX down there out of Tijuana. And
Yeah.
It's a direct flight right into Cedros. It's like I think it's like a 1 hour flight or something like that.
Yeah.
Steve there that's been posting a little bit, he'd probably give some details. In fact, if you guys want to know more about it, he's kind of our Cedros expert.
Yeah.
He does a couple trips a
Would
year.
he be a good guy to have on here?
Yeah, if we're talking about Cedros.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, he does a lot of those.
Steve, get your butt down here next Tuesday. I want to see you up there if you can make it next
But
Tuesday.
yeah, you don't fly in like whenever you want. Like, you don't book a flight like you go on a Cabo or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's usually centered around that date, those dates.
Yeah.
It's a group because there's only so many pangas. The hotel can only take so many people.
Right.
And the airplane can only take so many people.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, I think it's just 12 people.
Yeah.
Those groups, and they're usually like a charter. It's basically like a charter, type trip. Yeah.
You know what I want to do? I want to drive down to the mainland. Cedros is not that far.
Oh yeah.
And then panga out there
Yeah.
and fish it.
Yeah.
Because I'm greedy and I want to take more fish back with me.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would stop in Ensenada or Tijuana at an orphanage or something and just,
Give it all.
hell yeah, that would be bitching, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Be part of the barbecue, that'd be fun.
Yeah, one of my favorite trips down there. I went to San Catine.
I love San Catine.
Yeah, stayed at the old mill.
Yeah.
Yeah, back this long.
That was
few
John
years
Wayne's
ago.
favorite. He loved fishing there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, John Wayne actually lived in where I live in Sequim, Washington.
Is that right?
And he donated a marina called John Wayne Marina, right in our town. In
That's
Sequim.
crazy.
It's kind of cool.
He was crazy about Mexican. I think he married 4 or 5. He had Mexican women. He was nuts about Mexican women. Yeah. My wife thinks I am too. And I said, no, I'm nuts about Costa Rican women. You, mi amor. Let's see. Chris Pro is watching from Tucson, Arizona.
Nice.
We got people from all over this big, beautiful world. Trout rods.
Yes.
You got good trout rods?
Oh.
We don't talk enough about freshwater here. Partly because I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah.
But
You got this
are
great
you
saltwater
interested in
fishing,
it?
Right?
I'm interested. Yeah. You know what? With the
What are you looking at? Is there something going on out there?
There's a bunch of rods coming in.
No.
But
Somebody's got more
it's
rods.
something that we should do a little bit more of. I mean,
You and me and here?
yeah. I think that'd be cool.
update.
Oh, hey, come on in here, Morrison.
Nice.
This is Mike Morrison, the manager. Do you
Mike.
know him, Bill?
Bill.
Pleasure to meet you.
Hey, can you put your arm around me? Okay. Now massage my neck while you're talking.
Just got off a 2-day, knocked the crap out of them, guys. You need
Nice.
it's overnight fishing. Overnight fishing. Trevor's running the boat. You got about an hour to get here.
What boat were you on? The Amigo?
Amigo.
Oh, good deal. What'd you knock the crap out of?
Sea bass
Don't
and
go-
yellows and everything.
What the hell? Why didn't Mark do that for my trip?
They hate you.
Will you, Mike, lean in a little bit. So, do you mind if we do a little update?
No,
on that?
no,
Yeah.
you're good. Yeah.
Really easy fishing. All those yellowtail came by live sardine on 20 to 25 pounds. Some guys were catching them on 50 and 60 pound. Small hooks. As soon as we ran out of sardines, we had fortunate to make some squid. Just started knocking the crap out of everything.
You did?
Yeah, it was good. Sea bass, standard dropper loop stuff on 100 pound. It was eating it. It was easy.
Awesome.
Wow.
My son had like 3 yellows on plastics. It was
Insane.
That's
awesome.
awesome report.
Bonita was, they were a pest. We caught tons of them. It was like everything hurts. Like I'm hurting.
Mike, thanks for the update, man. And
Yeah.
so, what grade were the yellows? Let's talk about that. Are you going to talk about where they are or
8
not?
to
I don't
25,
care.
San Clemente Island.
Okay.
All the way around the whole freaking island. You just find a little spot and stop on it. Not one particular side.
Sea lions a nuisance still or not?
Not really.
Not that bad.
No, they were eating the bait, but they weren't eating the fish.
White sea bass also?
Sea bass, white sea bass.
How many sea bass did you have?
We went 10 for 15.
Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome.
So Mark really does hate me?
No,
Was it a light load? How many people on
I
the
was going to
boat?
break into tears.
How many?
13.
Oh, nice.
Here, I'm holding this so you can talk into this.
Hello. All right, going to my.
Wait a minute, one more thing, please.
Overnight fishing, guys. It's
Over here.
biting.
It's
Who's that?
biting.
You want to get your son in here? Is that him?
No, that was Danny Trainer.
All right. Is Mark running again tonight on the Amigo?
No.
Oh, okay.
Get an update from him later.
All right.
Guys, I'm going.
All right.
Hey, Mike, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
It's biting. Let's
It's
go.
biting.
Hey, everybody, hot off the press, Amigo just came in. Man, that's exciting, isn't it?
I knew they would.
Sea
yeah.
bass,
This has got to
yellows.
come back on, right?
Yeah.
They got to eat again,
You,
right?
no, you know what I think it is? Those cotton ball clouds.
Could be, yeah.
Could have been.
I think that's it. Brandon, you did it. Albert Ponce. Hey, Phil, that Cedros Drive is great. Is this the Albert that has the house in Rosarito? Some guy on my live podcast? I think it might be Albert. He has a house in Rosarito, and I go, hey, I'd like to get the keys. He goes, anytime you want them. I'm looking for this guy now. Anyway, Albert says, hey, that Cedros Drive is great. I did it about 2 years ago. It takes about 14 hours from the border down. For your information, brought me back a 26-foot Mako from their fleet, which it should be redone, ready to go in about a month. That's awesome. I'll hit you up so we can. I'm in there, Albert. I love that kind of stuff. That sounds good. Brandon now,
There you
the
go.
cotton ball guy. Oh my God, Phil! I'm gonna get my sea bass.
Probably will.
It's his first sea bass.
Yeah.
He's been trying to get it. I hope he does, man. That'd be great. Hey, Albert Ponce is the guy with the house in Rosarito.
Hey!
Albert, I'll see you tomorrow, my friend. That's awesome. Marcus Fain. Do you know Marcus Fain? Yeah, he's a great guy. Hope all is well, Phil. Marcus, always good to see you.
Good dude.
He's got a relation with Brian Burrell, right, Marcus? They're cousins or
Maybe
something.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I like now?
I know he works
You
with
see me? What's in here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to be careful myself, right? Well, so great fishing going on. Let's talk about
good.
catching white sea bass.
Yeah.
What's a good blank for catching sea bass? What would you
Oh, that
guys?
1087 is
Do
pretty nice.
you fish the
Good.
same
Yeah.
blank you would for yellowtail and tuna,
You
or
would.
Yeah?
But from what he was describing, fishing heavy line, you'd probably even use a heavier rod. I probably even would use the RCJB 96H. Would be fine. I mean, a lot of times we think sea bass and a softer rod, for lighter line or soft
Right,
mouths.
yeah.
But the way he was describing, I'd probably straight fish 40 or 50 even on a heavier rod even.
Well, you got that
Probably
new
okay.
1207 too.
That's a pretty cool rod.
That's
That's a bitchin' rod. That's a 10-foot rod.
Yeah.
It's kind of a
White
dual
sea bass.
rod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The white sea bass, though.
Yep.
I mean, that
That'd be
was
perfect for that.
That was a good one. Yeah.
It'd be a really good lead head rod.
Yeah.
Really good lead head rod.
Redhead and squid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
calico bass blank?
Oh yeah.
Something that people are nuts about. They love to fish calico bass.
Yeah, we've been selling a lot of that Revelation swim bait.
Uh-huh.
REVSB. It's a 710. We have a medium heavy and a heavy. Either one of those. Depends on what you want to throw. And it'll cross over to those larger swim baits also. If you want to throw larger swim baits for bass fishing, even for your
Freshwater.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah.
was thinking that,
Yeah,
right? You can
yeah.
use that for that.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So that's been a popular one down here. Eric Landisfein.
Yeah.
You know Eric Landisfein?
I do.
Great guy. Him
Yep.
and Matt Koch. They were one of my first pro staff down here, probably 15 years ago. I had them on my team, wrap their boat, and they've helped me develop a lot of that stuff into what they're
Matt
doing.
Koch is the artist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Fish
He does
head
all the
art,
crazy.
fish head art,
Yeah, he does
I
a
got
great
I
job,
got a
doesn't
bunch,
he?
I got a bunch of his originals.
Yeah, well, he's donated stuff to me in the past to help us raise
Yeah.
money for the stuff we're doing.
Sure.
So he's a great guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and Eric are great guys.
Yeah.
Jimmy Decker.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, Baker.
Oh, you're all plugged into all these
Oh,
guys.
yeah. I mean,
And do you get a chance to visit with them when you're down
Oh,
there
yeah.
usually?
Oh, yeah. And I've fished with them before, more than once, at least a half a dozen times fishing with them. They'll take me out, go catch calicos, and we'll run over the island and run around, and they use a lot of my stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they're all range shadow.
Yeah. So I want to get a custom rod. I don't go obviously to Bill. I go to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then what do I do?
Well-
Do you recommend somebody to me or what?
Yeah. It depends on what you want, and kind of when you want it done. We have a lot of guys who shop with us, rod builders. So we'll refer a lot of guys to those guys.
Yeah.
We do some in the shop as well. So depending on what you want done, we may do it for you. So, but usually we'll start with what you're looking for,
Yeah.
and we'll get you set up on a blank.
Yeah.
And then after that, we start looking at some colors, and we have a whole section there with all kinds of thread. And we pick out some thread colors and kind of get a design going.
Yeah.
I actually took DJB's question. He said, what is the best way to get a custom rod? Can I go to Island Tackle? Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your question. Bill convinced me to try acid wrap,
Yes.
not acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill, don't convince me
I'm not giving
to do that. For God's sake, what's wrong with you? Just don't tell the wife I bought another rod. You know what, DJB? Tell the wife you could be into things that are way worse than another rod.
Exactly.
Playing the ponies and, tell her straight up. This is a wholesome thing, right?
It is.
If you want to get your first custom rod, I suggest whatever rod you use the most, because that's what you want to get your custom rod.
Yeah.
I fish calico bass all the time. So what's the best calico bass? Or I go fish yellowtails or whatever rod you use the most. Get something like that.
Yeah.
As your first custom rod.
I can get my Notre Dame colors if I wanted to, right?
most definitely.
Yes. I didn't go to Notre Dame. People think I went. I didn't.
You could even get him a sticker of him put on there.
Oh my God, the fighting Irish leprechaun?
Yeah.
Man,
They do all
now
kinds of
you're
stuff,
talking,
man.
man. Can I have him like punching the hell out of the SC? Oh, I don't want to. I'll
Easy,
alienate.
don't be-
See, I'll alienate half my audience. I don't want to do that.
No.
Bill Varney. Do you know Bill Varney?
I do
The
know
surf
Bill
fishing
Varney,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah, Bill's a big SC guy, so we have that thing going on.
He wrote a great book.
Yeah, he did. Fishing the surf.
Yeah. I was in another shop yesterday up in Ventura, and some surf guy came in, and the owner of the store handed him a book. Said, "Here, read this." He said, "This has everything you need."
Yeah, he's really good.
About reading water even and things, because a lot of guys don't understand about reading
Oh,
water.
yeah, that's really
Watch-
important.
Yes, that's where the fish are.
Yeah.
You got to read the water to know where the fish are, and things like that.
So I dig up, when I'm bored, so I go out in the beach and I dig up sandworms.
Oh, yeah.
It's a weird thing to do, right?
No, not really.
I actually did a sandworm video, and a guy, I bartend once in a while. A guy, he goes, "Hey, I watched your sand." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, it was funny." And I go, "Well, it was supposed to be instructional. What do you mean it was funny?" Well, anyway, Bill Varney called me. He watched it, and he goes, "Hey," and I was mentioning they're really thin, they're scrawny, so they're hard to get on a hook. He goes, "Well, you need to soak those in milk at night,
And then they
and the
puff
next
up."
morning." I soaked them. I actually soaked them in, because I didn't have any milk, but I had a protein shake. I soaked them in that. Freaking nice and fat in the morning, man. Put them on the hook, tossed them out there.
That's awesome.
Hook up. Yeah, so guys like that are, Bill
Don't they
Varney.
use the sand fleas down here too?
Yeah, we call them sand crabs most of the time, but sand fleas, yeah. All right. Oh, hey, Brandon's back, the puffy cloud guy.
Yeah.
Tell Red, so that's Mike
Okay.
Morrison's nickname.
I can't
Not-
imagine why.
Yeah, really? Yeah, like Baldy is my nickname, right? Hard to figure that one. Tell Red not to leave without me. This guy's providing a lot of entertainment tonight. I'm getting my belt buckle on and it's stubborn. I'm telling you, I'm reading this. I have an Uber to the landing. I'm not missing a sea bass, Phil. Been waiting a long time. Hey, Hey, Crusoto's here. He's part of our studio audience. What's up? Take a seat.
Let's go.
Hey, you're stepping in front of my camera. What are you doing? Get out of here. Hey, Cruz, you can sit there if you want. This is getting out of control now,
It is.
isn't
I
it?
didn't know we were gonna have a party.
Yeah, I think we should actually, man. Yeah. Do you have a custom rod? Have you ever bought a custom rod? I'm asking our studio audience.
Yeah, one from Alex for the Rusty Hook.
Oh, Alex from the Rusty Hook. Okay. No,
Actually,
yeah.
That was for Woody at the shop.
Okay. Boy, you look older or something.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry. All right. So, anything? What else can we talk about here? I'm at a loss for words. All of a
You
sudden.
were lots of
Yeah.
words?
Bill.
Come on, yes.
Let's talk. Let's go back in your history just for a
Sure.
second, because we've referenced it a few times. Your dad built this company. You took it over.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he died in his 50s.
Yes.
So it was an unfortunate time.
Yeah, it was
So
19 years ago.
what was that like to have that all dumped on you? Have you always had that work ethic? It sounds like
Yeah.
you have.
Yeah. I've lived a pretty different life, the way I was raised. I was a haole in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So you have to be kind of tough and thick-skinned and things
Yeah.
like that because
You get picked on a lot?
oh
or
yeah,
what?
yeah. I was a haole, right?
Right.
And I grew up with all Hawaiians. I was the only white boy in town. It's like living in Compton.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to learn how to box at a young age and
Yeah.
things like that.
So you got in a lot of fist fights when you were a young kid?
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did a lot of things to try to prove myself that I was, as good as them
Yeah.
per se, right?
Yeah.
So when that came on me, my mom says, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, we got to keep the family legacy going. This is what we do."
Yeah.
So
Was it a it wasn't a multi-million-dollar
No,
company at the
no,
time.
no, they're-
Was it a big company?
No, it wasn't that
Small.
big. It was a small company. I think there was like 5 of us at the time.
Yeah.
You know, we just had opened up one of the largest factories in the nation. Right across the street, we were partners in this factory, and we were just kind of getting going on the Batson label side of it, and just God blessed us. He brought me in some key people. You know, you're only as good as your team. So my job is to go out and find people that, you know, I'm not an accountant. You know, I'm not a designer. I'm not a warehouse manager. So you find people. Everybody has different gifts, right?
Yeah.
God gives everybody a gift.
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
So
I'm still trying to figure it out. Let me know what mine is later, Sam, will you?
So the job of a good coach is to bring in everybody with different gifts. Not everybody's a pitcher, not everybody's a catcher, not everybody's a second baseman, right? But so you go out and you find all these people and you bring this team together.
Yeah.
And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and that's basically what I did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went out and found the right people to fill positions, and as we grow, I would find more. God would give me another person. You know, good people are hard to find, but for some reason, we seem to be blessed, and God brings us different people to work for our company.
You're not bashful about mentioning God.
No.
So you're a religious guy, obviously.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, we're a Christian-based company.
Uh-huh.
You know, and
Is that important to you?
yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's right on. It's right on the front of my catalog. Right there.
Oh, okay.
Christian-based
Yeah.
company, you
Yeah.
know. This is our 340-page color catalog. We'll have a new one out next month, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, I'm a walking, living, breathing miracle.
Yes.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
In my past, I had a tough time in my past, and if it wasn't for Him, I wouldn't be here today.
What kind of tough times?
I made some poor choices. You know, when you're young, people make poor choices.
I'm making one. I'm old.
Yeah, you know, people make poor choices, and you know, I made some poor choices when I was younger,
Yeah.
and I did some prison time behind it.
Yep.
But when I got out, I figured God gave me grace. I should have been dead many times. I've made a lot of poor choices, so I'm going to try to turn my life around, and that's what I did. And we've been blessed for that.
Wait a minute now. So this makes your story even more remarkable to me, that because I've been there. I didn't do any jail time, but I've been in that hopeless, depressed,
Sure.
and that vortex
Right.
just starts sucking you down, and you
Sure.
get to the point where I've effed my life up, I've
know.
screwed up, I might as well, you start thinking about killing or whatever,
Yeah.
and it has to be your higher power,
Sure.
or it would be Christ in your
Sure,
me too.
Yeah, that's what I believe in. Everybody has something different.
So something turned you around. What was there a epiphany? Was there a moment that you can go back to and say, this was what did it, or was it an evolution, or what was it?
My father was the same.
Yeah.
And he got
He got in trouble as a young guy.
and he got put in jail for a while, and then he got out, and and he kept doing the same thing, and the definition of insanity is doing the same thing
Right.
over and over, and,
Right.
and expecting different results. Well, when I went to prison, my dad changed his life. He says, "Well, I've screwed up enough. I'm going to change my life," and he became a Christian while I was in prison. I did 6 years in prison. When I got out, he was a Christian. He goes, "Hey, son, I followed my dad. He was my idol, right?
Yeah.
So I followed his path throughout life, and his path was destructive, and so was mine. And so when he switched over, and I got out of prison, he says, "Hey, try this, son." So I said, "Okay, let's try this, because it's working for you, Dad, because it worked.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Right? You just put work into it. It works."
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And I didn't want to go do 25 to life.
Yeah.
Right? That was another thing. He was,
You were over it.
I'm done, right?
Do you want to say what you were in prison for, or in case or
Drugs.
not? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drugs.
Selling drugs or doing or.
Yeah, all of the
Yeah.
above. Everything
Yeah.
involved with drugs.
Yeah.
People get sucked in.
So here's my question, and because in some ways I feel like I wouldn't be the person I am if I didn't
not
go
at all.
through
Yeah, no way.
that. So I wouldn't wish that on anybody, being an alcoholic,
No, I totally
or.
understand.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
that
wouldn't be
that
the guy-
trial of fire.
I guarantee you.
Did it make you a better person?
Oh, most definitely.
I
wouldn't be
know.
the guy I am today. God put me in that position for a reason, right? I wouldn't be the guy I am today if I didn't have that.
That fire, that awful.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes you eternally grateful,
Oh,
right?
most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never forget.
Yeah.
I won't do that again.
I gotta go. I think I'm gonna go home tonight and recommend to my kids they become alcoholics because look what it did for me.
Yeah, exactly.
The way it's
No, I'm serious though. There's a weird thing about that, right?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it definitely changed my life, and like I said, I wouldn't be the guy I am today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the heart I have today. When I was younger, I didn't care about nobody. I didn't care about anybody but myself.
Yeah, I know.
Now I can care about people.
I can see
help
that,
people
and you help people grow their business.
all the
I
time.
mean, we got a guy on here that can't get his belt buckle on, so you know what I mean. Well, thank God we're.
and he's watching the clouds. Yeah.
He's gonna go catch his first sea bass.
That's awesome. I'm happy for him. You should.
What? Let's see. Well, I want to make sure I'm in the right place here. Oh yeah, that's the belt buckle thing. Right after that, what are the basics? These people realize that I had no more questions, so they're helping me out. Thank you. Get this thing up to 50 likes, please, you guys. What are the basics for building a rod?
The basic things to build around?
I guess, yeah.
Well, the components. I mean, Sam.
It's the blank. Blank's probably your basis. Everything else you kind of have some different things you can do, but you gotta choose a blank that's appropriate for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
You have that. You have your handle, which is going to be where your reel goes at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Then you have your guides. So those are the three basic components. After that, the thread, that's going to be kind of more of a color thing. And if you don't really care about color, you go black on black, kind of a Southern California, tradition, black on black. But I think those are the three basic things. The blank, to make sure that that's appropriate for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Your handle, and that's going to be something that you might choose to do, like a reel seat or a cork tape handle, kind of like we were talking about in the other tips and tricks thing.
Yeah.
And then the guide choices. Now the guides have to kind of match the blank as far as if it's a heavy rod, you have heavy guides, and if it's a medium rod, and so on. But the blank's probably where you want to start as far as choosing stuff. I'm not sure if he's asking about that or maybe getting into rod building in general. Or?
If you want to clarify that would be great. You could do that. That'd be great. You know what used to amaze me? I was a kid and I was a deckhand on the Redondo Special, and a guy named Mike Conklin, I watched him come out with a rod blank, right? He was, look at this bitch and blank here, pull on this. You're like, oh yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Then he went upstairs on the life rafts and he takes electrical tape and he puts his guides on. He goes, oh, I want to fish this right now. And I'm like, seriously? And he fished it. How weird is that, huh? I mean, have you ever heard that before? Or?
No.
Oh, have you?
Yes.
I've heard of
Okay.
guys repair a rod using electrical tape, but not tape all their guides on.
Yeah, he did.
And go fishing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tape.
Yeah. But I think, and I'm guessing, and I can't remember, but he took it off and then went and have it wrapped after.
yeah.
But he was so excited about it, he wanted to fish it.
Oh yeah, most
Yeah.
definitely.
What's the gestures? You see that, Sam? What's the gestures do you have for a reel seat?
Suggestion.
Yeah, there you go. That won't, thank you. That won't give you frostbite and is comfortable to fish in the high Sierra.
I would go with the graphite rubber graphite seat.
Yeah.
We have a graphite plastic seat with a rubber coating on it. It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you talk about having room for building a rod, what are you talking about? What do you mean exactly?
So I mean, you got to have room for the machine to build a rod, and the way that the rod building machine is 4-foot tracks, and so for what we're gonna do, most of the California, you need 3 of those tracks, so that's 12 feet. So you got to have 12 feet of linear space in a room to be able to set up your machine. So that's kind of what I mean. And 12 feet's a lot of room, and you can move some things around, make it work, but you kind of want to have that space somewhat dedicated. You're going to be working on a couple rods maybe at a time, so you might need to have that space used for that for maybe a couple weeks to a month, depending on how many rods you're doing. And so you want to have that area kind of just dedicated to that.
Right.
To a certain degree, so 12 feet of space.
At
that's
least.
kinda what
Yeah.
along a wall
Yeah.
would be the way to
Where
go.
your cats and your dogs and your
Yeah.
kids and
Yeah, are
all
not
the
gonna
stuff
get in
are
there.
Not gonna get into it, and
Yeah.
hairs flying around and dust and all the stuff.
You know what really kills me? When you have somebody in your studio audience and they're sitting there playing on their phone during a riveting, brilliant conversation. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to slip my wrist or what I'm going to do. Ruben Lopez, hey guys, great show. Here, and I'm going to say this to you too after I read these. But Ruben Lopez says, Bill, thank you for sharing your story. And then DJB says, Phil, Fishers of Men, good place to be.
Yep.
Do you know that club?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And N6UN says, I love it when the story gets good. He's talking about your story.
Thanks.
And says, God bless you all.
Good.
You know, that's a hard thing to do, to
it's fun.
share your story.
It is, you know.
But these guys I can tell,
Oh,
and for every guy that puts a comment up there, there's 100 others that your story resonated with.
By the way, that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
do for you.
yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And that's their testimony. I mean, it comes all the way generations. My grandfather, you know, was an abuser. My father was an abuser of substance, I should say.
Yeah.
You know, and I was. And then to be able to break the chains and build a company that's based on what God has done for us and help people is amazing.
And your family,
Yeah.
your kids,
Yeah.
they're not going to go through that because you put a stop to it.
Yep,
It's a
exactly.
beautiful thing, Bill.
It is. You know, I've been out for over 25 years now. You know, so I'm going on 26 years, and I'm what they call a 2%er because I didn't have to go back.
Yeah. Good for you,
And a
man.
lot of guys go back
Yep.
because they lose hope.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't going to lose hope. I'm too stubborn for that.
Well, and plus, you know, that's the one thing about religion. It does give you a rock.
Yeah, it does.
You know,
It
gives
me,
you.
it gives me somebody to be accountable to.
Yeah.
Because before I was not accountable to nobody except getting loaded.
Yeah.
Right? Well, now I had somebody to be accountable to. God's watching.
Yeah.
Right? He wants to make me better.
That's a beautiful thing, let
Yeah.
me tell you.
Yeah.
Slam and Sammy, seems like let the pros do it. I'll be seeing Sam soon. Makes sense to me, too. Johnny says, Bill, what does Rain Shadow have for heavy freshwater swim bait blanks? What do you have?
I have a REVSB 710 heavy. Or I have got another one I call my Okeechobee Special. It's a Revelation 711 XXH. Is also a good one. So either one of those.
Those are the guys. Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
And if anybody ever needs to contact me, they can email me.
Really?
Batson at Batson Enterprises. We answer 100 emails a day, easy, of people asking questions. They're not customers of ours. They just want to know what.
Yeah.
And then I ask them, where are you at? And they go, I'm in, Southern California. Okay, go see Sam.
Yeah.
Or I'll send them to a distributor closest to them. I'll answer questions. We have some of the most extensive rod specification anybody in the industry. For every blank I make, we have a rod spec for it, which means here's the recipe on how to build that rod.
Oh, my God, really?
Yes,
Wow.
every blank.
You're kidding me.
No, nobody does that.
Do you personally take phone calls from people all the
yes.
time? I do, too.
Yeah, I take phone calls all the time.
Yeah, I do, too. Like I
They
said.
might get screened.
Yeah.
They'll get screened by one of my secretaries or the front lady.
Well,
or
you know how I screen my calls? No, I don't have the stab you have. I never answer the phone if I don't recognize who's calling me.
Right.
Text me. And then you're likely to get a text back.
Exactly.
But, I don't need to get on the phone with some guy seeing cotton balls at midnight,
I know.
and can't get his belt buckle
that's
on.
a tough one.
Yeah.
No, I will say, I mean, kind of as a customer experience, because I'm his customer.
Yeah.
When you call down there, there's a couple things. It's a family operation, Son works there, daughter, cousin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else, but I mean, it's a family operation, so it's run that way. The other part is that just how you see guys come to our shop and we have a number of guys that are going to be able to help them out and provide good information.
Yeah, right.
Same thing. He's got a whole crew there. Many of those guys are seasoned rod wrappers. I mean, a guy who can wrap any rod. So if you have a question as to, I'm trying to put this together, but it's not going right together,
Yeah.
they got a full staff there of guys who would answer any question in the rod building process.
That's great.
And it's good help. It's good info.
Yep.
So I mean, there's been a lot of guys who come to the shop and said, you know what, I talked to Eddie over there, and he said this is what I got to do. Do you guys have it? Oh, yeah, come on down. This is what we have. No problem.
That's awesome.
So it's that kind of company. It's not only they make great products, but the
Their
staff,
customer service and
the staff is there.
Yeah.
To provide, and it's a family operation.
Bill, you do a podcast with your daughter, right?
I do
Tell us about
a
that.
live show
Uh-huh.
Fridays at 10 o'clock, and we talk
10
about
p.m.?
blanks. 10 a.m.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm up at that time. I'm not up at 10 p.m. usually.
10 a.m. I did it when I started doing it when the pandemic hit and
Yeah.
nobody could travel. I couldn't go do shows.
Yeah.
I can't go out and show my product. You know, Fred Hall was canceled. And so I said, well, shoot, we got to show these people something. So I said, let's do a blank talk. So we started pulling on blanks, showing people different components. You can ask questions. You can do all that kind of stuff. It's a fun show. Like I said, last week's, me and my son did it because my daughter was on vacation. We had 1,600 people watch it.
Wow, that's fantastic. Is your daughter's knowledge about everything?
No, not as much. She's more the social media. She's just kind of getting into the industry.
Yeah.
You know, taking her fishing and stuff as a kid and things like that. But my son, very knowledgeable. He's been building rods for 21 years. He's 32. Been building since he was 11.
Wow.
So he's very knowledgeable. Very good rod builder.
Yeah.
So I had him do the show with me last Friday, and it was a good show.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Ed Nisbet. Ed is in Palm Springs saying hello. He's an ex-outlaw biker. Christ saved me.
Yeah.
Did prison ministry for 25 years. It works.
Awesome.
What's up with these rods that have the first guide on top, then turns down to the bottom?
It's a spiral wrap.
Yeah. Ed, congratulations, by the way. That's great story also. Love you. Yeah, and that maybe you could, he wasn't listening, maybe you could go back into that one more time.
So,
acid wrap, right?
Yeah, acid wrap, spiral wrap, there's a couple names for it. It's been around for 100 years. And people have been doing it for 100 years. Yeah, it takes all the torque out of the rod for fighting bigger fish.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Tom Nelson, is that the Tom Nelson that was just on the Amigo with me? I think it is. Great guy. Super good guy. Sam, do you have any of those XXH rods in stock ready to fish? Maybe it is. Tom, is that you? Yes or no?
So we do not at the moment. I know I was mentioning that earlier. Something we got to get going. In fact, there's a couple of rod builders I talked to about a week ago that we might get those things going pretty quick here. That's a super nice blank.
Yeah.
Super nice blank.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're interested in one, hit us up at the shop. I'm pretty sure within the next couple of weeks we'll have some ready to go.
Yeah. The supply chain, the flow of stuff, you said you kind of, were a visionary and took care of that, but are you having any problems now? I mean, is that supply?
There's a couple things here and there.
Yeah.
You can't always have everything all the time, and trends come and go.
Right.
So, and then people come in and wipe us out of something, because they need 85 rail rods, to run their company and stuff like that. But supply is good. Supply is good. I mean, you're going to always find something that's not 100%.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's just life in general, right?
I've got over 7,000 different parts and pieces.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that's a lot of nuts.
What does your warehouse look like? Is it massive?
It's a 12,000 square foot facility.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been there?
No.
Let's go one of these days.
Yeah,
nice.
That'd be a good show.
That would be a great show, is
That'd be
what
a
it would
great
be.
show.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah, and we go fishing and crabbing too.
I was going to ask you about that.
I live in Dungeness Bay.
Oh my God.
That's the name Dungeness Crab.
Yeah.
I live in Dungeness Bay. It's right in front of my house. We crab in 10 to 20 feet of water and pull pots in an hour, and you can put 30 crab in the boat.
You know what you
Come
can
on.
do there is fulfill your Albacore prediction.
Yeah, that's true. We got Albacore. Are you doubting Brandon? A guy that can't get his belt buckle
I'm
on?
talking about a sure thing here. Yeah.
You don't think he can catch an albacore, huh?
Not really.
Chet Finley. Hey, Sam, thanks for all your help. You know him?
Yeah.
What'd you do for him?
Yeah. We set him up on a trip. He was coming down from up north somewhere. I forget exactly. But him and his buddies were going down, kind of first time going to San Diego.
Yeah.
And we set him up with a bunch of rods and reels and tackle. So
Oh,
I
nice.
hope they did okay. I know that they were out at the same time we were, so I know it was tough fishing.
Yeah.
But I know he had the right tackle for sure.
That's awesome.
You know, I talked to Arnie he's a Pongaro down in Ensenada, and he told me, and then I get a different story actually, but he told me, and he has no reason to tell me this, because he takes people fishing. He thought the bluefin were out of there because he had 73-degree water. It was a horribly slow day yesterday. I think it was just a down day. Maybe he just got a little down. Because I heard some of these guys are still off Ensenada, probably just a little bit further out of that hot water.
Yeah.
And,
Well, it was down all over.
Yeah,
It was
right,
down straight
right.
west, it was down.
That's probably what, he might have gotten screwed up
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
Yeah. Tom Nelson, great guy. So you think of Tom Nelson, right? What do you think a guy like Tom Nelson looks like?
No idea.
Well, yeah, I mean, he walks on, he's speaking fluent Spanish. He's a Mexican guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. But, I thought Tom Nelson, I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's such a great guy. And we were speaking Spanish and goofing around. And so some of the stuff you're looking at, that was our Cabo giveaway. We took hundreds of skateboards and thousands of clothes down there. So he's going to help me in Rosarito when we go down there. We're going to go down there in November, 1st and 2nd, during Dia de los Muertos, and hand out. We have so much stuff. I've created this monster, man. I don't have a warehouse. Gallagher Staging has a warehouse. And I've been taking truckfuls of stuff for 6-8 months, a year. So we're going to go down into Mexico and distribute to the poor
awesome.
down there. Yeah, I love doing it.
Don't they do a fishing tournament down there where they give kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guy named Jack.
Yeah,
Jack, he's a great guy.
I sponsored one of those things where he.
That's at Los Barillas.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people like line up.
Oh, yeah.
There's huge line. Yeah. Souls, yeah, something like that. Yeah. Will do, Sam, says Tom Nelson.
Yeah.
What'd you tell him to do?
Come down and get that rod.
Yeah. I should mention that tonight on the Freedom, I don't know if you know this, but a kid named Travis. Do you know Travis?
Yeah.
This is his first at the helm. Tino Valentine threw his back out. You know how he threw his back out? He got up out of bed and made a ham sandwich or something. I was talking to him today. He goes, I don't know what it is, man. I've been doing this, so he's all screwed up and he can't get out of bed and he's a little disappointed, but he's got full confidence in him and that should be, I'm excited for him too. It should be really cool.
That is good.
He's going to have to control
fishing.
Huh?
He's headed in some good fishing.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Get started,
Breaking news. The morning briefing's going to sizzle tomorrow morning. So do you have a YouTube channel or anything like that? So what is that? How
Batson Enterprises.
Okay, yeah. And is there tutorials on there?
Oh, tons of them.
Oh, shoot.
Tons. I've got 15 plus years of tutorials on there.
Really?
Everything from how to put shrink tube on, how to wrap a guide, how to bend a blank, how to spine a blank, everything you can think of.
Oh, so I go to YouTube and search Batson Enterprises, and then I can find this wealth of information.
Yep. New products, everything.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, we have a studio in-house, kind of similar to this.
Yeah. A little nicer, I'm assuming.
No, nothing wrong with your studio. You got a good studio.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got a microphone on a shark nose.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Hey, it's the best we can do here right now,
and
Bill.
Actually,
check with me in a year.
Yeah. Actually, I do my live show in my warehouse.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Working warehouse, right?
Yeah.
And they pan around, they see everybody working. And
that's great.
Me and my daughter stand there so I can yell at a worker, hey, bring me that blank over there. Hey, grab me this, grab me that, So it's pretty cool. So we're actually in a working warehouse.
We should actually pan over at him playing on his phone during our show. That would really add to this whole thing. Mondo Redondo, single wrapped, double wrapped, or even triple wrapped guides on specifically a jig stick. Will it affect the action of the rod in graphite versus glass? Woo, what a question. Which one of you two gentlemen are up to taking that on? Or will it be a joint effort?
I think it's all about the application, how heavy the rod is.
Yeah.
So the basic jig stick down here is what? Like an Ulua?
Like a 90J is called.
Let's just say a 90J, right? Triple wrap, not necessary. Would it affect the action? It might affect the action a little bit. Double wrap, maybe the first two guides, single wrap the tip, the rest of it, Sam?
Yeah. I think what he's saying is that can you change the action of the blank by doing that?
No.
These rods are so heavy. There's so much material that you're not able to. You'd have to put on like 5 bottles of finish or something like that to weigh them down or something like that. There's just way too much. I mean, that would probably be something that would affect more of a like let's say salmon steelhead rod or something like that.
Yeah.
You get something like that that's super light.
Yeah.
Then you start adding a lot of thread, and maybe you might change that a lot
tip
more.
Heavy, it would mess with the action a little bit.
These rods that we're talking about, they're so heavy duty. I don't think that's something. And single wraps is kind of a popular thing to do.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, I know there's thousands of rods that have been single wrapped, and they're all good. And I don't think you affect the action. Not in any perceptible way.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you
A little
take it down to
tiny.
science,
And it'd be hard to judge. It'd be hard to even judge that.
If you close your eyes and pull on 2 or cast 2, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Got you. Slam and Sammy wants to know your YouTube page name again. So Sammy, you go tell
Batson Enterprises.
BATSON
Yep.
Enterprises.
YouTube.
Sammy, just search that on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find it. I bet you can
There's a
Google
bunch of
it,
stuff that you can
and
go
it's going to
on.
pop up
Yeah,
too.
most definitely.
Yeah, and Chico just came up and put it up there. Batson Enterprises.
Yep.
Chico, you're number one. Can you get us up to 50 likes, please? Oh, is that you? Now his phone's making noise. Who the hell invited this guy? He came down to get free line and to destroy the show. You know, hey, thanks, Cruz. Cruz Soto.
Thanks.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Let me tell you, we've only been doing this 2 hours, boys. Does it feel like it?
No.
Feels like
Time
what, 8
flies
hours?
No, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, no kidding.
It does.
Well, should we wrap this up or not? Oh, wait a minute. I
Yeah.
did want to ask you this.
Yes.
Sam, I could ask too, but what's your favorite kind of fishing? What do you like? Is
I
it those big halibut? Is it?
I like tuna fishing.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
I really enjoy tuna fishing. I grew up in Hawaii. You know, we fish a lot of off the
Yellowfin,
beach.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't fish a lot offshore when I
Yeah.
was a kid. We didn't have, the money for a boat and all that kind of stuff. We fished offshore, off the beach.
That's fun fishing.
You know,
Did
we
you catch tuna off the beach?
No, we catch uluas off
Yeah,
the
that's
beach.
bitching, isn't it?
GTs.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
jack,
right.
big jacks.
Yeah.
100 pounds.
I did that in Fiji, and that was a blast.
Oh yeah, they're fun.
Yeah.
But my favorite fishing now is to go chase tuna. It's what I'm going to do this weekend. I probably do 4 trips a year. I'll go down to Louisiana. One of my favorite spots to go down to Venice, Louisiana, and fish out the oil rigs, 100 miles out. Around
How
the
is
oil rig.
that?
It's amazing.
Is it?
It's one of my favorite fisheries. I've fished all over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of my favorite fisheries to go down to Venice. Venice is not. It's ugly. I mean, it's not a place you want to go vacation.
Yeah.
It's a fishing village.
That's cool with me.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, me
man.
too.
I'm good with that. Yeah, get on the boat. You go out and get on those go fast boats. You go out to those rigs. You fish all day, all night. The next day,
Go fast boats meaning what? 25 knots?
I know, probably 60, 70.
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, these are,
Oh
they
my
got,
God.
They got 4
Okay.
300s
Oh,
on the back.
go
It's
fast.
just
Yeah,
a
I got you.
42-foot center console. Get your bean bag. You sleep on
Yeah.
the way out.
Oh my
you
God.
Fish all day and all
So you're
night.
fishing in a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
bitching.
Yeah, you get out to those oil rigs at 100 miles. They start about 70 up to 100 miles out there. But the fishing out there is phenomenal. I mean, I've been out there 450-pound blue marlin on the same days, 130-pound yellowfin and, amberjacks and wahoo and mahi-mahi.
Isn't it weird that you don't think of that? Do you think of that area as having
now that I
providing
know-
those fish?
Now that I know about it.
Yeah, right. But
I-
like when you're growing up, like you
Never.
think like Mexico, right? And-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you think of this coast, right? I
Yeah.
love fishing this coast, too. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong. I mean, San Catine all the way up to the islands, I've fished all this area,
Yeah.
too. But if I was going to book a trip, and I know Louisiana, but you get weathered out just like anywhere else. I went down there one time, and we had a 7-day trip. We got 1 day on the water.
Because of a hurricane or something, or what?
Yeah, well, I was there at the last hurricane in August, when they had that big one, and we just got off the water and barely made it to the airport before
Jeez.
that whole place got wiped out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me really interested in this now.
Yeah.
So you're catching all that different variety. How much are those trips? How much they cost?
Oh, they're a spendy trip.
Yeah.
A couple grand.
Uh-huh.
But
For a 2-day trip?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And how many people are on the boat?
4 or 5.
Yeah. 4 or
Okay.
5.
Okay. Yeah, it makes
4 or
sense,
5,
huh? Yeah.
But I know I've spent $5,000 on a trip to get the boat for the 1 day.
Yeah.
To run out there. That's what it is.
God, is that bitchin'
No,
fishing
it's
though, or
amazing,
what?
though.
It's really good.
Do you catch? I didn't. I don't remember. Did you say billfish? Are
Oh,
there? Yeah.
Yeah, I caught a 450 blue marlin. 2 hours and 20 minutes stand up
That's
for my 50th birthday.
crazy.
Yeah,
What's the name of the landing? Do you have a landing that you remember?
Venice.
Yeah,
Venice.
Marina.
Yeah, Venice Marina.
You know all about this too?
Yeah. I have a.
Let's go do
I
that.
have a guy who goes on my 11-day.
Yeah.
He's actually from Tennessee, but he's got a boat down there. He's got a boathouse down there.
Mhm.
He sends me pictures like pretty much once a month.
Oh yeah.
Retired guy, but
Freemans. A lot of guys run those Freemans.
Right.
he's got. He sent me pictures of everything from swordfish.
Yeah.
These big snappers. I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
big ones. Wahoo. I mean, he loves wahoo fishing. A lot of wahoo, a lot of yellowfin. It's really good fishing. Really, really good.
Really
fishing.
good.
Yeah. Speaking of the Freeman, I met a guy the other day who said he was a big fan of the podcast. He's got a 60-foot Freeman or something like that, and he goes, "I can fish Tanner Bank like on a day trip."
Yeah.
And I go, "You got to be kidding me!" He goes, "I can fish Tanner, hit Clemente, hit." I
Oh,
go,
yeah.
"Oh, dude, I'd love to do
60
that."
miles an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are flying.
So you're out there in an hour and a half to Tanner Bank. How amazing is that?
It's crazy.
Jeez.
It's like going to Catalina.
Yeah, right. That's amazing.
Just sucking that gas down.
Yeah.
Oh God, you're right. Yeah.
$2,000
Yeah,
in gas.
if you got a 60-foot Freeman,
Yeah,
you're probably not too worried about that, right?
No.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
exactly. So is that one of your favorite places in the world to fish?
Yes.
Yeah. And you said tuna fishing is your favorite, so
Yes. Yeah.
fishing it there would be like if you had to pin down an area.
Yes.
Yeah,
More consistent.
Louisiana,
It's
huh?
consistent because they're hanging out at the rigs. Those fish are feeding around those rigs.
Because
all the
there's
time.
bait
Yeah.
there at the rigs.
We went out one day and caught 12 70 to 100 pound yellowfin on topwater poppers. 12.
Oh God! So you see them blow out
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
they're chasing a school of flying fish.
Oh,
and
God.
as far as you can see, tuna jumping out of the water. 100 miles out.
How bitchin'
It
is
was
that?
amazing.
Well, how deep is the water out there?
10,000 feet.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, just crazy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So yeah, one of my favorite spots.
When is the best time of the year to fish it?
I think I was there in mostly April. I'm not a big fan of heat.
Yeah,
So I try
I
to
noticed.
Yeah.
You were saying it was
It's
too
the-
hot in here.
Yeah, it was warm.
Is it hot still in
No,
there for
no,
you?
not so bad. When the
Yeah.
sun go down, not so bad.
Yeah, because you're used to Washington.
40, 50, 60 degrees. And right now our high is 60, right? And that's shorts and flip-flops for me.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right.
So I come down here in shorts and flip-flops and it's 90.
I know, yeah, I know. I was in China complaining about how cold it was, and the guy from Chicago was like, well, "You're a freaking wimp."
Yeah, it's all about where you live, right?
Yeah, totally.
See, what's nice about where I live up in Washington, it's a lot like where I lived in Maui, in the mountains, because we lived on a Halakala ranch, 5,000 feet above sea level, and it was cold.
Yeah,
I mean, people think, oh, Hawaii's all warm and everything. Go live in the mountains.
yeah, right.
You know, live on a volcano up there. So Washington's very similar to where I grew up. So.
Yeah, I mean, it depends because you get in the altitude like Mexico, like in Chihuahua, when I went up to the Copper Canyon, freaking cold. Mexico City can be a little
cold,
chilly. Yeah, a little bit. And then when I lived in Costa Rica, you go up to some of those volcanoes, Arenal and Poas, and freaking cold up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it all depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chico, you got your 50 likes. Shut up, he says to me. He didn't say shut up. Thanks, Chico. He said you got your 50 likes. All right, let's go for 100. I'm trying to.
You better bring me a cup of coffee before going for 100.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something, Bill. The only reason I'm delaying this a little bit now is I want the puffy cloud guy to come in here. The cotton ball, because he's on his way in an Uber, isn't he? I figure you can help him get his belt buckle on.
I'm not helping this guy with his belt buckle. You never know. People talk about belt buckles. You never know what they're talking about.
I think I do know. That's what scares the hell out of me.
I think I'll leave you to deal with him.
DJB, Phil, you have to be one of the hardest working people on YouTube. Sam says that all the time. No, he doesn't. Appreciate the morning updates and especially these evening podcasts. Great info from you and your guests. Thanks again. DJB, I got guys like this here, man, and they make it all. And we've talked about it, Sam and Bill and myself. It doesn't feel like work, man. It doesn't.
This is cool.
Some guy put on a comment on YouTube the other day. He goes, "Man, you talked for 14 minutes. I can't believe you can go, you know." But he was kind of like, you know, just let the. And I was like, 14 minutes, dude? You ain't seen nothing yet.
14 minutes.
Yeah. Because I've already done a couple hours today, and we're 2 hours in now. All right, I think I'm going to let you guys escape.
Excellent.
Bill.
Yes.
Besides the fact that you have this multi-million-dollar successful business, that you're helping all these people,
that's what it's about.
that you're a really good person, you're a religious guy, you're not ashamed to show that, but you shared that personal story, and I think you never know whose life goes in a slightly different direction, having seen this guy who's successful. There may be a guy out there who's in prison or going to prison or in trouble, and now they can see the light at the end of the right.
You got to make the choice.
Thank you for providing
You're
that.
welcome.
And
Thank
Sam,
you.
my friend,
Yeah,
it's
buddy.
always good to see you, right? All right. So I'm gonna what about this
Thank you,
guy?
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bill, give your contact info one more time.
Yep. Just Batson at BatsonEnterprises.com. You can email us. You can look under Rain Shadow, Alps. Just go under Batson Fishing. You'll find us.
And Sam, where do we find you?
Island Fishing Tackle, 21809 Avalon Boulevard, 310-707-1205.
Folks, I'll see you all in just a few more hours with the morning briefing. And Sam De La Torre has a great tutorial on throwing the iron for barracuda we'll have that tomorrow also. For Bill, Sam, everybody here at Freedman Adventures, I think that's me.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. Thanks again.
Aloha. Thank you.